There you see Demetrius Harvey's post. Jaguars OTA #1, a bit ominous, and the sky is almost black. So I don't know what to believe, whether or not they're going to have practice outside or inside today for that first OTA, but you know what? They'll figure it out.
Yeah. The one good thing we always say that Urban Meyer did for here is building that, what is the Miller Electric Center out there. So if it's bad weather, you can move inside and things can continue. But it is funny. Yesterday, I was at my brother's house, and he lives on the north side swimming. But it's one day, it's like beautiful blue and sunny above us. And then you turn and like behind his house, it was just the darkest of dark clouds you could possibly have. And I'm looking, oh, they're going to get this way eventually. Never did. I don't know where they went. They just broke apart.
I don't know where they went.
They just broke apart and never got over us. And so that ends up, there's certain sides of town that I feel like sometimes they just avoid the rain. And so it's kind of nice when that happens, but that is very Florida, where you can look one direction and it's perfectly sunny and blue, and the other direction it's not.
Exactly. So yeah, the Jaguars back out on the field, the first OTA organized team activity. And I'm sure Liam Cohen, just like every practice that we've seen him conduct, it'll be very efficient and they'll get a lot of work done. It'll be spirited. And so Tom will join us in the second hour to tell us what he saw. I want people to weigh in on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures, 641-1010. Best part of your Memorial Day weekend. I wasn't here on Friday, but of course, always want to say thank you is not enough. The gratitude that we have for everyone who paid the ultimate sacrifice for us to have freedom. And I was thinking about this too, Taylor. It's not just the servicemen and women that die in combat or die overseas, right? Or while deployed, I should say. It's also the ones who come home and their lives are never the same.
Yeah.
Like they also pay a different sacrifice, but still a massive sacrifice in order for us to be free and get to do things on Memorial Day like grill and swim and things like that.
Yeah, and I started the show on Friday about, like we have this long weekend and it's fun. You're talking about cooking out and pools and beaches and all of that, but to remember why we are doing that and the freedoms and the lives that are lost. But to your point, coming back, and there's a lot of, we talk about mental health now being such an important thing. And I know my grandfather, who was a Marine, battled a lot with that. And it's becoming more to where you can talk about it and accepting and going to therapy and all of that is great. But for a long period of time, that wasn't. You just kind of had to like man up and get over it. And so I watched my grandpa battle a lot before he passed away from cancer, unfortunately. But that lingered into his life for a long time, what he took from that. And so there was, and then even now we talk about, I know the Memorial Day and Memorial Weekend is for when we talk about, the freedoms and the ones we've lost, but the ones that are now in active duty and the veterans that are here with us now and all of that, we celebrate them because we celebrate them as people, because I feel like there's not many people, when you talk about being able to just do that job, it's not easy. It's that you're putting your life at risk. You're leaving your families. There's a lot of things that you have to battle throughout that time. And so very, very appreciative. On this show, we all have family members who served. And so it's a little closer to home too. But we appreciate it. As we say this, I feel like every time we come to a holiday where we acknowledge this, but I never want that part to get lost in anything.
Absolutely. Yesterday's for the fallen heroes. And I still say thank you for your service to my brother, to my dad. And my uncle went through a lot of what you're talking about with your grandfather as far as the PTSD of what they went through. But at the end of the day, yeah, we do, like you said, we thank everyone for the people who are currently serving. There are people that weren't able to be with their families yesterday and have this, long weekend, to your point, because they are in active duty right now. So thank you to all of them. And we'll now get back to sports. Don't you worry, people. But yeah, hit us up on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. The best part of your long weekend. It can be something you ate. It can be an activity that you did. I told the guys on Crosstalk we went to the beach Saturday morning and Sunday morning, and then we went to a friend's pool Saturday after the beach, and then my parents' pool Sunday after the beach. So we had a lot of outdoor time. Yeah, a lot of outdoor time. Ate some delicious food, and it was fantastic. But now, yeah, we want to certainly focus on what the Jaguars are going to do at practice. And it is cool, I think, that they're going to open the mandatory mini camp to fans. They will, the tickets are free and they will be available for season ticket members starting tomorrow, May 27th. But they will open that one up on June 10th at the Miller Electric Center. Gates open at 8 a.m. and then practice 8:40 a.m. to 10:55 a.m. There's just something extra cool for us that get to be out there as many practices as we can attend when the fans are there.
Oh, yeah. It does bring a little extra something. And I think it's cool because when we're there, and right now during OTAs, you're going to be talking a lot more about the speed and size of of the players. And when you see some of the new guys, that's when it's the oohing and eyeing over that, not technically the physical contact that we like to see in the game of football. But there's still things that you can take away from this. And Tommy and I were talking about this on Friday, Lauren, about just this is the point of time where some people, these new guys on the roster, are just guys continuing on their careers, trying to find their place in the NFL. And this is, you're talking about making a roster and their dreams coming true at points in time. And so I do think that that's another thing that maybe you forget about a little bit. But for the fans, it's cool because we get to see these OTAs and get to have a little bit more access at certain points through all of this. And so it's fun for them to just see that extra something when it comes to, because it's that first indication that football's back. And
you got that
it's not technically we're watching football games yet, but it's that, okay, we're watching OTAs. So that means in a little over a month it's training camp, and then right after that is when the preseason starts now, because they have the Hall of Fame game that is really early. And so pretty much once you get to this point and fans are able to see that is that switch where it's like, oh, we're almost there. We almost made it through the
It's less than 100 days to the first games, at least for college football. By the way, they did start the OTA outside at the Miller Electric Center and then have already moved inside due to the weather. So Tom McManus, like I said at the top, he'll join us in the second hour of today's program on what he's seen. I don't know that they're going to necessarily do a whole heck of a lot in this first OTA, but I do think it's important this time for those guys, whether it's the guys from last year's draft class that were injured and either missed the entire season or a lot of the season, like a Caleb Ransaw, Jalen McLeod, even Wyatt Milam, who missed certainly parts of training camp, and then certainly all of the undrafted guys from this year, and then, of course, the draft picks from this year. This is their first chance to see how Liam Cohen wants to operate outside of rookie minicamp, but that's a little different because you're basically only around either other rookies or other young players. Now you're going to be lining up against the veterans, right? And so I think this assimilation period is important. It's kind of like that first day back to school, right? Like you learn the syllabus and things like that, but you're not actually taking classes, or the teachers aren't necessarily teaching just yet.
Yeah, and I mean, for them too, you're seeing, to your point, how Liam Cohen is going to coach and how these practices are going to be. This is, maybe you got a little bit of that in minicamp, but now you're looking around and seeing the guys that have now played for him last year, but have been in the NFL for a long time, some of these guys, and how they practice and the work ethic and what goes into being an NFL player. And so being able to see some of that, because we've talked so much about the type of people that we feel like James and Liam are bringing here to Jacksonville. And those are hard workers. Those are the guys that are putting in the extra effort. We talk about
the lunch pail guys.
Yeah, and we talk about being the good guys, and every single person that we've talked to, whether it's former coaches or just people that covered them or play-by-play, every single one we've had on this show has all talked about the personalities and how, they're good people, and they're the guys you want in the huddle and stuff like that. But you also, a big part of James and Liam and Coach Camp has been the work ethic side of things. So seeing that right away and how they fit in with some of these veterans. And so it will be fun too. That's when you just start seeing personalities a little bit, which is fun too, because some of these players you don't know much at all about, and you see them dancing in the end zone, or you see, a more kind of stoic personality. And so it's fun because you get to see that stuff too, if you're not as familiar with some of those things. And I remember that's one of the first things we talked about with Travis Hunter last year. You knew Travis Hunter of being played both sides of the ball and some of that. I don't know.
Trophy winner.
Yeah, I don't know if we knew quite how fun he was, in the sense of smiley and just like dancing and having a good time no matter what. And you saw that right away in OTAs last year. So that's some of the fun stuff you get to see early on too.
Yeah, and think about this for rookie minicamp. You've got Borkacher and Koziel, the two tight ends they drafted. You've got the two wide receivers they drafted in Josh Cameron and CJ Williams. None of them have caught a pass from Trevor Lawrence yet. None of them, right? As far as, because Trevor's not going to go to rookie minicamp. So they were catching passes. Well, Josh Cameron was working off to the side, but the other ones were catching passes from Joey Aguilar and some other camp arms, right? So today is the first day that they get to see 16 out there and potentially throwing them the ball again. It's one of those times of the year where if you're new to this team, I think it can be a little bit overwhelming because there's so many. I mean, they have 90 people, 91, I think, total guys out there on the field. I mean, yes, in college, I suppose you do have 85-man rosters, but it's different. A lot of those players are never going to see the field on Saturdays. Like the NFL, they are whittling it down even now. We're not going to talk about getting down to that 53-man roster for months, but they're already starting that process.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, it flies by to this point in time. And then obviously there's that 6-week period where nothing is really happening in between that, and then you get back and it's camp and preseason. And some of these, we've talked about the battles, the ones that we're interested in seeing throughout OTAs and camp and what those look like. And I don't know how much Borkacher and Koziel, I think those guys, you're always coming in being like, I can be tight end one. I don't know if any of these guys you would say are coming in here and being like, I don't think that's already taken. I don't want that. I don't think it's that conversation, but it's probably feels like it's Brenton Strange. It's Brenton Strange if you know anything about this roster. And then behind that, there are other ones. When you talk about the linebackers, what that looks like. And then you talk about the safeties, that's going to be a really interesting one because you have Antonio Johnson and Eric Murray, who they obviously paid Eric Murray this last year, extend Antonio Johnson. And then you're talking about a situation where you never got to see Ransaw, but then they drafted Jalen Husky. So there's a lot of interesting things. And for Husky, he has to be coming in here being like, I feel like this could be a true battle and I could get a spot as a starting safety on this team. And so it is interesting to see just different levels, too, of the position group and positional needs and what that looks like and how quickly they come in and start being a part of what feels like they fit right away. Because I do think sometimes we have the conversations where right away you're like, whoa, that's an NFL player. Already you see it. And then other times you're like, oh, there's definitely some development that needs to happen. And that's what's fun about this part of the off-season programs.
Exactly. There's no shoulder pads.
Yeah.
So just go out there and show those coaches what you can do. All right, more to do on the other side, including some college football, some college baseball, some college softball. A lot to get to. You are listening to Helmets and Heels, 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
I heard a story about you. I was wondering if it's true.
Everything you've heard about me is true.
He's not afraid to tell the truth. Rick Ballou as the truth teller. Evenings on 1010XL.
I'd give anything to be friends with him.
Now, the Florida Gator Report on 1010XL. Installed by Cash Building Material. Windows and doors done right.
Florida hosts an NCAA regional beginning Friday when they face Ryder in the opening round. Miami and Troy also part of the Gainesville regional. If they win, they'll play again on Saturday at 6 versus the winner of the Canes and Trojans. The Gators softball season comes to an abrupt end, losing to Texas Tech in the rubber match in the Gainesville Super Regionals, sending the Red Raiders to the Women's College World Series.
Jeff Prosser here. When you need new windows or doors, you want high-end quality without the middleman markup, and that's why I'm telling you about Cash Building Material. Same premium materials, same beautiful finishes, but at a price that actually makes sense for your home. No subcontractors, no runaround, just their own experienced crews who treat your house like it's theirs. If you want it done right, the first time, get a quote today. Thank me tomorrow. For windows and doors, search Cash Building Material. Windows and doors done right.
Helmets and Heels Tuesday.
Backed by
Morgan & Morgan.
When your home or business deserves more than ordinary glass, you trust the experts. Capital Glass and Shower Doors has been elevating spaces for over 40 years with precision, craftsmanship, and clean, modern design. From sleek frameless shower enclosures to elegant glass railings, wine cabinets, and any custom glass that makes a statement, Capital Glass delivers unmatched quality, service, and attention to detail. Your vision, their expertise. Capital Glass and Shower Doors at capcoglass.com.
It's the perfect day. You're just driving along, listening to your favorite music, the windows down. There's a cool breeze. Life is good. But wait, hold on a second. You're not wearing a seatbelt? You'd better put that on before that... Uh-oh, too late. Cops everywhere are stepping up enforcement, so you'd better buckle up or you will get caught. Sorry to ruin your day. Click it or ticket.
Funded by the Florida Department of Transportation.
Don't miss the Bari Breakdown with Dr. George Bari on XL Primetime, Wednesdays around 1:35 for the latest in sports injuries from all the big names in the game. Who's MIA, who's coming back? Dr. George Bari on XL Primetime, Wednesdays at 1:35 on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Hey, gang, Prosser here for my friends Chad and Sandy. What are your concerns? What struggles do you anticipate when it comes time to sell your home? What is it that bothers you? What's keeping you from getting max money as quickly as possible? Well, I don't know what those reasons are because I know they're all silly. Because Chad and Sandy have one down-to-the-line guarantee. Your home sold guaranteed, or they will buy it. It'll be at a price and a rate that you agree upon beforehand. So if you need to sell now, fast, easy, stress-free, and you need max price, then you need Chad and Sandy. The government's making moves intended to push mortgage rates lower. The last time rates dropped, we saw a selling and buying frenzy. Now's the time to prepare. It's time to call Chad and Sandy. Darcy in San Jose did. I wanted to move to a more walkable, vibrant area. Within 3 days of working with Chad and Sandy's team, I found the perfect home. They do it stress-free with a guarantee. Go to chadandsandy.com or call 414-6200. That's chadandsandy.com.
It's a week-long flash sale right now from Zero Res. 3 rooms of carpet cleaning for just $125 and $599 air duct cleaning per unit. Call 287-5727. Zero Res. Spelled backward or forward, it's the right way to clean.
Weight loss gets a lot easier when you stop guessing. Reclaim by Awaken 180. 10 weeks, a real target, finish line, and most importantly, results. Medication-free and free support for life at awaken180weightloss.com.
Hey Jacksonville, this is Lauren Brooks. If your car's AC isn't ready for this Florida heat, Big Cheap Tire has you covered with $50 off AC services. Stay cool and comfortable no matter where summer takes you. Their team makes it quick and easy with friendly local service you can trust. Call 904-932-0950 or check out WeKeepJacksRollin.com. Big Chief Tire, keeping you cool all summer long.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
Jay Saunders. I'm Lauren Brooks with you. Tom McManus will join us after hanging out with some Jaguars practice excitement, a little bit. I guess excitement. Yeah. I've been looking online at what people are saying as far as the OTA #1 for your Jacksonville Jaguars. It looks like they're just doing some basic stuff for the here and now. Travis Hunter is there. I don't believe he's doing anything team-wise, but he is there, and so that is at least good news for your Jacksonville Jaguars. But yeah, Tom will join us in the second hour. Let's get into Lauren's Lane.
Now, Lauren's Lane. Opened up by Closets by Design. Imagine your home totally organized.
I'm keeping RJ on his toes because I moved it up earlier today since we'll have Tom's takes in the second hour. All right, the SEC meetings in Destin going on right now. Greg Sankey met with reporters yesterday. He said he is committed to the SEC championship game amid the 24-team playoff expansion debate. He said that they have contracts, so they are committed. He also said he does not anticipate any decisions on the college football playoff to be made during the meetings right now. Says that the SEC spring meetings have been overhyped because, of course, a lot of people have had this on the calendar thinking maybe Greg Sankey will say something as to tip off the future of college football.
Yeah, there's a lot of juicy stuff coming in. I know we'll get to a lot of it throughout the day, but when it comes to those meetings, and the big one's going to be that 24-team playoff, what that would look like, who's agreeing, because now the conversation is it's just the SEC. Everybody else has agreed on it, and the SEC hasn't. I saw a post earlier, according to On3, 8 of the SEC ADs voted for a 24-team playoff. So they got that one got 8 votes, 20-team 1 vote, 16-team 4, and 12-team 1. So there's some people in the SEC that are also voting for it. Just obviously not enough, I guess, for it to fully take over. So it's just going to be very interesting to follow this along and see. And then, like I said, there's other notes coming out when it comes to that conversation of a lot of coaches seem a little frustrated because the whole conversation around adding another conference game, which obviously when you go to that 9 conference games, I guess there was some not like kind of handshake agreements throughout the time of if they went to 9, then they would get some other things, and they haven't gotten those things. And so it's going to be a pretty interesting day in general. It has been so far, but weeks leading up to when this actually gets voted on and all of these things play out. I know Mike Elko's been very vocal today. A lot of the quotes that I've seen coming from him, and he's just kind of, which we've said on this show before, when it comes to everyone's kind of about themselves and fending for themselves in this situation. And Elko's quote, the one he said, Texas A&M head coach Mike Elko on college football playoff expansion talk. What does Mike Elko want? 40. Then I won't get fired. It's okay to make it hard to get to the playoffs. Elko continued, none of us are answering for the good of the sport. We're answering for the good of ourselves. And we've said that before in this, that I don't think the Big Ten or the SEC or any individual coach is saying, hey, what is going to make college football the best possible product? What they're saying is, how can we get the most money possible, and how can my team get into the postseason, the playoff, and how can my team have certain benefits in certain areas and get money? And those are the things that it's kind of turned into right now in college football, unfortunately. But at least he's honest about it.
It feels like this all goes back to me, at the SEC media days several years ago when we found out the bombshell was dropped that Texas and Oklahoma were joining the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that Greg Sankey was able to work that quote unquote magic kind of without anyone being aware of it whatsoever. And so he and the SEC kind of led that conference expansion. And then since then, obviously, the Big Ten has certainly caught up and passed the SEC as far as teams in their league. But it feels to me like ever since then, the other leagues are still annoyed that Sankey was able to pull that off. And so they are going to, almost band together. We saw that alliance and basically try and take the sport where they want it to go. I just find it sad, I guess, in today's day and age that we don't realize, we being the media, the athletic directors, the presidents, the coaches, the commissioners, fans in general, I think understand this. If you look at the world big picture wise, when countries don't get along, war happens.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily a good thing. I mean, I guess you could get into who it's going to benefit long term and whatnot. But when you're talking about it, all of these different people that are in charge, the more fighting that happens, the less, I think, beneficial it is for the sport overall.
Yeah.
They should have these closed door private conversations with the people that matter and then come out and say, this is what we're doing for this year. And then again, closed door private conversations a year from now and figure out if they want to expand or not. To me, it's just so messy. It's like that, that couple that is always fighting in front of everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like,
here they go again.
Right. You're like, I really wish you could just do this privately because it's affecting all of us. I feel like that's how fans are. Like all of this messy fighting in public. And we just want the sport to be the sport that we've always known it is, like a pure sport. And I know with NIL that's changed a little bit in transfer portal and whatnot. But for the most part, still on Saturdays, we get super excited for this sport that we've loved for the longest time. And every single Saturday matters.
Yeah.
That's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah. And I think, too, when it comes to kind of based off of that, the conversation between all of the pool, between conferences or whatever the case may be. And I think it was Elko today that made the comment of there's not somebody over all of it. And that's one of the problems. There's not like the CEO of college football that's making all of these business decisions, because if there was someone like that, then maybe you could have these conversations behind closed doors. But instead, the commissioners of each of these conferences feel like they have to be vocal and tell everybody what's going on because they're trying to get everybody on their side. So they're like, well, I have to come out and say my point. So then that way, they start to be like, oh, maybe it makes them think about it a way that they weren't before. And if I make this a big thing and it's on social media and it's being written about and people are making videos and podcasts, then my point will be spread farther and faster. And that's kind of what I feel like they're doing at the commissioners of each of these conferences.
You have to agree with me.
Yeah, like you need to believe what I believe or what I think or whatever the case may be. And to your point, when it comes to even within our country, we've had the conversations of every time an issue comes up and you don't agree, all it's doing is separating
creating more divisiveness
of our country. Not, it's whatever you're arguing about, if it's outside of, outside politics or whatever the case may be. So that's the unfortunate part, is it has started to spiral out of control. And we talked about this really early on when the NIL and all of that was happening and expansions first started being talked about, is it's going to get out of control eventually because there's just not enough guardrails to set down. And there's not this person at the top saying, hey, here's an overall yes or no. And we've even seen that with appeals recently. Like, how many times does one person get to appeal and then that judge goes to the school and they get to decide if the person gets to do it? There's no...
Because the judge is a graduate of the school, so they're going to then pass it, or at least
and Drinkowitz mocked that today in some of his stuff when it comes to just get a judge who graduated from your program, and then you can get them to say what they want to say. Yeah,
I do feel like the Roger Goodell of the NFL, people boo him when he goes on stage at the draft and whatnot, and he makes a ton of money. But the NFL has only grown, and they've only become the greatest, largest, most popular sport over the last 20 years, and there's not even a close second. It used to be college football, I feel like, was maybe a close second, but now there's just this big gap, and it's going to grow bigger and bigger the longer that these people just keep making all of this about themselves versus the collective good. And I know, Kirby Smart, the Georgia head coach today, said, I'm worried that college football is going to ruin these other sports because we're so incredibly selfish. And
the other college sports.
College sports. Exactly. Go ahead.
Sorry. No, I was just going to say to that point, and that is part of it, is college is in this weird limbo of you're not professional, but you want to pretend you're professional in certain aspects of the game, but then you don't want to go all the way to where you're like, hey, we are like the NFL football. Have little kind of similarities here and there where we're like, okay, you're getting paid. And when it comes to kind of a free agency almost now in the off season and some of those things, but if you're not fully committing to it, you're turning fans off because what you're doing is it's like this weird where maybe if you're wanting to get that professional football fan, then you need to lean into it all the way. If you're not, then stick to the origins of everything and keep it that pure college football, and then you keep your college football fans, but you're losing those because you're turning a little too close to professional football for those people, but you're not close enough for the professional football fan to be like, this is really fun. It just looks messy from the outside.
Yeah, and the fact that now you're talking about certain conferences breaking away, like the SEC, if they were to break away, that would be like the AFC South breaking away from the NFL. That wouldn't go well. And so, I certainly hope that someone smarter than me can bring everyone together and figure out what's best for the sport, not what's best for certain conferences or coaches or players, what's best for the sport in totality, and that includes all of those players. All right, I want to talk a little bit of softball because I know the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures, 64110 if you want to weigh in. They have asked us to discuss softball. So as someone who watched the games this weekend as Florida played host to Texas Tech, I can tell you that it was high drama in Gainesville. Oh, yeah. It was starting on Friday. Friday afternoon was the first game. Well, 11 a.m. Gainesville time was the first game. And if you weren't paying attention, I'll give you the short version of the game, how it played out. Florida was down like 8-1, then ended up battling back, got it to 8-5, and then got it to 8-all with a 3-run home run heading into the 7th. So obviously 7 innings is all that they play in softball. So you have this crowd in Gainesville that is electric. Mm-hmm. Well, you have Mia Williams, the former Gator, now Texas Tech Red Raider, yes, daughter of Jason Williams. Mm-hmm. She's up to bat for Texas Tech. She hits a 2-run home run, and they end up winning 10-8. So that's Friday. Yep. So all the drama already is centered around the fact, well, then it wasn't so much drama. It was more like, holy cow, I can't believe Texas Tech just won that softball game when they were up by so much, then surrendered the lead, and then ended up, or at least had the tie game.
And they had the opposite against Ole Miss. They were down like 8-0 against Ole Miss, came back and ended up winning that game. So it was about to happen to them.
Which is why I told you last week I didn't want to play Texas Tech because they were coming in so hot and on fire. But regardless, then Saturday, Florida ended up winning in Gainesville, so we knew the rubber match was going to be on Sunday. And then that's where the drama really ended up happening because Mia Williams was hit for the 5th time. Mm-hmm. So everyone's split on this topic of why would you hit one? She'd only been hit like 4 times all the other games this season, yet she's hit 5 times in Gainesville. And Keegan Rothrock and obviously the Florida head coach, Tim Walton, you had to wonder, like, was that your plan? And if that was your plan, why? Because you were putting a really good runner and talented player on base.
Yeah.
So I get hitting her the first time. Like, the very first pitch, you want to hit her, you want to send a message, okay. But once you saw that Texas Tech was scoring runs with her on base throughout this weekend, that's when I think you changed that strategy. Yeah. And some people would argue, like, oh, well, she was leaning in. She didn't do anything to get out of the way. They had to review it, which they did. And they said, no, she was just hit by pitch. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't have kept having Rothrock hit Mia Williams. I would have said after the first time, okay, that's enough.
Yeah.
But you can obviously tell that there is bad blood between that Gator softball team and Mia and her family. Mm-hmm. And then you have the dad coming out after the fact, like including today on a show, Barstool Sports, saying he won't go back to Gainesville unless his daughter is playing softball. So other people are wondering, how's Todd Golden going to handle this? But at the end of the day, Texas Tech ended up run ruling Florida on Sunday, 16-7. Getting run ruled at home is incredibly embarrassing in the Super Regionals. And now Texas Tech is one of the 8 teams headed to Oklahoma City, and Florida will be at home.
Yeah, for the outside people that aren't fans of either program, was very entertaining and very juicy the whole time. But you get plunked 5 times, and there's definitely some animosity. Yeah, some extra animosity leaned into that one. And the one I saw, she was so far off the plate because I was like, some people stand like on the plate, and then I feel like you can justify some things if you're leaning over. The one I saw, that I was like, man, her stance is pretty far off. off of the plate. So it was kind of wild that they hit her. That one kind of hit her like on the outside of the knee, the one that I saw. But then there was Florida didn't line up for the handshake, and the one video went viral of Texas A&M just celebrating, but then there's another view of it where Texas Tech, sorry, and they did line up and Florida never did. So then it's just like, it's honestly a bad look for Florida in my opinion, because I like hitting someone like that, not changing your tactic, then not shaking hands, then getting run ruled at home. It's not a very good look for that program at the time. I'm sure Texas Tech fans are riding real high right now because she hit multiple home runs in the series, so she's going to get hit, and then she hits multiple home runs, and then they end up run ruling, so they're having a great day. But from the outside view, it's fun for just a fan watching and being like, oh, there's some extra drama going on. And then, her dad going on multiple shows. At this point, he had a video after the game in general, and that's the one where he said, I'm not going back to Florida unless she's playing. And then, so it's a lot of, there's a lot of videos going up of juicy stuff. One of the videos that's him gator chomping, kind of sarcastically at one of the Florida players. So, but then someone was like, well, his daughter just got hit 5 times. I'd be sarcastically kind of going after some of that team too. But a lot of wildness. If you haven't seen any of the videos and kind of the drama on Twitter, just go search Florida softball or Texas Tech softball, and you're going to see a lot of interesting stuff when it comes to that.
Yeah, it was I would say a wild thing for the non-handshake. But other people who played college softball have said when certain teams beat us on our field, or if we won on their field, they didn't they didn't line up for handshakes either and give us that respect. So I wasn't physically in Gainesville, so I can't speak to certain things about like an 80-year-old woman hitting his other daughter with a fan. Again, I wasn't in Gainesville. I watched the games, but I wasn't there. But if you're wondering what the Women's College World Series looks like, it begins on Thursday at noon. You've got Texas Tech, Mississippi State. So Mississippi State upset Oklahoma, which was one of the highest seeds. So that's a 3 versus 5, which is interesting. And then 2:30, Texas versus Tennessee. That's a 1 versus 2. At 7 p.m., Alabama versus UCLA, also a 1 versus 2. And then the 9:30 game, Nebraska versus Arkansas, also a 1 versus 2. So again, the only one that's not is Texas Tech versus Mississippi State. I, for one, will be cheering go Mississippi State Bulldogs. More cowbell is what we need. All right, I want to get to some college baseball on the other side. You are listening to Helmets and Heels, 1010 XL 92.5 FM.
Streaming live from the XL Digital Studios. Polished by Harbor Dental Care, the locally owned smile restoration experts.
Not everyone is built for a cubicle. At Local 234, apprentices get paid to learn hands-on skills like plumbing, pipe fitting, HVAC, the stuff Jacksonville runs on. No endless lectures, no massive student debt, just hands-on training, real jobs, and real pay. This is how you level up, by doing work that actually matters. Check them out at UA234.com. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Local 234. Make the right connection.
Are knee problems keeping you from doing the things you love? Stop by Riddle Wellness for a free in-office workshop May 27th at 11 a.m. in Ponte Vedra. Discover natural, non-surgical options that may help relieve knee pain and improve mobility, including regenerative treatments and decompression therapy. Get back to living with less pain. Space is limited. Call 395-5598 now to RSVP. Riddle Wellness in Ponte Vedra Beach, 395-5598. Be there May 27th.
Helmets and Heels Tuesday.
Litigated by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Have you tried a Form Energy drink yet? You need to, and it's available at Gate. 4 great tastes, screaming freedom, Blue Blitz, Orange Fury, and Grape Smash. Form Energy, natural flavors, natural caffeine, and electrolytes for hydration are a perfect blend for energy and mental focus. Find it at Gate.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler with a beautiful selection of fine jewelry and certified diamonds. But we're also Jacksonville's leading buyer of gold, silver, and diamonds from the public. Gold has recently hit an all-time high at over $5,000 per ounce, and silver is over $100 per ounce. Pay bills, buy something fun. Now is the time to sell your gold and silver for cash and get top dollar, or trade it in for a new piece and get even more at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Hi, folks. Frank Frangie for the farm at Okefenokee. My wife and I and a bunch of friends just got back from the farm, and we had an incredible experience. We toured the regenerative farm, as well as the beautiful handcrafted cabins, and were treated to a fantastic farm-to-table dinner created by Congreve and Penn. Man, was it good. Well, you can learn more at okefarm.com. That's okefarm.com. And even hear my interview with farm co-founder Doug Davis to learn even more about this amazing property. That's OKEfarm.com.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Multi-unit hair grafting is now available at IHRS and can give you 3 times more hair in one procedure over a traditional hair transplant.
Multi-unit hair grafting gave me more hair in one procedure and within my budget.
You can grow your hair back with this exclusive new procedure. Call now for your free evaluation and see if multi-unit hair grafting or PRP can restore your hair. Call 904-777-IHRS.
My bald spots are gone. Thanks, IHRS.
IHRS is the only clinic in the Southeast to offer all proven solutions to restore your hair and is now offering multi-unit hair grafting. One procedure, more hair.
You've got nothing to lose but more hair. I feel younger, I look younger, and who doesn't want to feel better about themselves?
This year, grow your hair back. Call for a free evaluation. Call IHRS 904-777-IHRS 777-4477.
The Golf Club at Southampton is super excited for what's next, and that's brand new greens and plenty more to add to your golfing experience. While renovations are underway, you can still come out, hit the practice area, and keep your game sharp. Plus, Thursday night trivia, always fun, and music on Friday nights on the patio. Check it all out at golfsouthampton.com or their Facebook page. Membership opportunities right now where you can take advantage of a great deal before the renovation is complete. Call 287-PLAY and check out the latest from the Golf Club at Southampton.
Hey, it's Brent with Arcosa Crushed Concrete. If you've got concrete or asphalt rubble on your site, let me buy it from you, and I will recycle it into construction material for your future projects. Arcosa Crushed Concrete. Get paid for what you don't need.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
RJ Saunders. I'm Lauren Brooks with you. Tom McManus will join us shortly after he takes in Jaguars OTA number 1, or at least the first half of it. By the way, breaking news when it comes to the NHL, Taylor, Avalanche star Nathan McKinnon will play in Game 4 against the Golden Knights. So
good.
That is
for them, at least.
Right, exactly.
If you're wanting them to win.
Considering the fact that the Golden Knights are now up 3-0.
Yeah. You definitely want your guy back if you have any chance at all.
Absolutely. We'll talk some NBA in a little bit, but college baseball, just want to run through a few of the regionals. So the conference tournaments are now over. You had the ASUN baseball tournament. I don't know if you saw, but so it took 14 innings and over 5 hours of baseball Friday night into Saturday morning for Lipscomb to beat University of North Alabama. And then for the championship, they played again and played another extra inning game, but that one at least only took 10 innings. But yeah, Lipscomb went on to win.
Really worked hard for that one.
I mean, if you understand, and you certainly do because you have so much family that plays baseball, but when you understand the working side of an event like that, you are really hoping that it just goes 9 innings because you've already worked so many hours as far as a conference tournament is concerned. And then with weather delays, which we saw constantly last
throughout
week,
all of this,
then you do not want any game going to 14. Obviously, the players, coaches, the parents, none of them really do either.
Yeah.
But when you've worked the entire tournament, that's
you're
exhausting.
worn out by the end. But yeah, for the players' sake, that's a lot. A lot of times you're burning through pitchers in that time, and then now you're going into the next tournament, and you just played 26 innings of baseball in 2 days.
At least they have this week off.
Yeah, and so you get a little break, but that's still, I mean, that's a lot. I don't know. I don't know how many pitchers they went through, but usually in 16 innings, there's quite a few you're going to be running through and then going through another extra inning game. So yeah, it's a lot of baseball.
For sure. So by the way, Lipscomb had UNF or JU won. They would be traveling to Starkville to take on Mississippi State. But it is Lipscomb, the Bisons, that will be doing that in that regional there in Starkville. And then Florida will host a regional and Florida State will host a regional. Florida gets Rider and Troy and Miami. I should have probably said Miami first. Florida will play Rider first. And of course, now there's the debate of which pitcher, who does Kevin O'Sullivan trot out there against Rider, assuming that you feel like you're a lot better than a Rider team, but that's certainly a game you want to win. Is it Aiden King? Is it Liam Peterson? Is it Russell Sandifer, who we saw in the game against Georgia, got hit by a pitch and right there on his forearm. Yeah, and or not hit by a pitch, sorry, hit by a ball. And yeah, it hit his forearm, was really swollen, and then they took him out of the game after only 2 innings.
Yeah.
So then there was a rain delay, and yeah, Florida ended up running through more pitchers than they wanted to. But either way, Florida does get Rider and then Miami, and then also
I feel like
Troy.
you probably want to hold on to Aiden King.
Yeah,
I
for
feel
Miami.
like,
Yeah.
I feel
And
like
then
you'd want
probably
him
Liam
in that.
Peterson against Troy. So if Russell Sandifer can pitch, I would say, he might play or pitch in that very first game. By the way, Florida now holds the NCAA tournament streak, 18 consecutive seasons that Florida has been to the NCAA baseball tournament. Yeah, really good there. And then Tallahassee, Florida State will take on St. John's on Friday at 3 p.m. And then the other two teams in their regional, Coastal Carolina and NIU. Coastal Carolina is a dangerous baseball team.
Oh, yeah.
That's where Florida went last year. But yeah, so we've got the 16 regional sites. Georgia, of course, has one of those because Georgia's one of the best teams in the country. Georgia won the SEC baseball tournament. And Georgia has Boston College and Liberty and LIU in their regional. So yeah, Tom's Boston College team will take on Liberty at 2 p.m. and then Georgia takes on LIU at 7 p.m. there on Friday. But yeah, 16 different regionals, but we will be down to, 64 teams will be down to 16 teams after Sunday.
That's wild how quickly that happens. It's kind of nice though because you don't feel like it's drug out so much when it comes to waiting and like these long tournaments. You kind of get that here's all of the teams and you made it, here's the regionals, and then bam, you just feel like the best teams are left. And
and then next weekend will be super regionals. So we'll see obviously the 8 teams that host. It just depends, but Florida did get the number 8 overall seed, so they could host a super regional. In the ACC baseball tournament, like I said, Georgia Tech won. They beat North Carolina 13-6, and in the SEC tournament, Georgia beat Arkansas 11-1 this past Sunday. So yeah, Georgia and Georgia Tech have two of the best teams in all of the country. I saw the odds for the College Baseball World Series have UCLA with the best odds. I wouldn't think that they win it all because they play a bunch of below average teams, right? Like when you're in the Big Ten, you're not facing the type of competition that the SEC is facing or some of the ACC teams as well. So I would certainly put my money more on an SEC team or an ACC team.
I feel like it'll be interesting because both of those teams, I mean, we've been talking about those two teams all season, and I feel like one of the conversations we have with Florida is there's moments of, where you're like, oh no, they've been losing. They lost this series midweek that they probably shouldn't have lost or whatever.
Sully throughout the
right
season.
away. And then he does this. I mean, I feel like what is this, year 19 with Coach Kevin O'Sullivan, and 18 of them they've been into the tournament. So I feel like that's pretty good odds when it comes to a coach and being able to at least get you there. And I do think that when your pitching's on, that's one of the things that Florida, I feel like we've talked so much that the bats have come alive at certain times. I know the Georgia game, you guys were leading at first, right? Because I had
up
glanced up.
6-0.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. That was going on at the exact same time that softball, the second game against Texas Tech. So yeah, that was, it was fun in the sense of like, once Florida was up 6-0 and then Florida ended up winning that softball game, I thought like, okay, we're going to win both of these. And we were at a friend's house with 2 TVs. And so it was perfect. Yeah. And then Florida lost the baseball game and then, won that softball game, but then obviously Sunday rolled.
Yeah, I feel like you've seen obviously their bats come alive at moments when you need it, but it does feel like when pitching's on, they almost feel unbeatable at certain moments throughout the season. And that's why we've kind of had the conversations of those weekend games when you have those top pitchers out there. It's been really hard to beat Florida. And I think so. It'll be interesting to see how they approach the pitching right away, especially depending on that injury too.
Yeah, I'm really hoping. I read that Nick DeLatorre said that nothing was broken when they x-rayed Russell Sandifer's arm. So that at least is good news, but it was on his pitching arm, right? So that's the hard part.
Even if you start, how quick does it start getting sore and you're dealing with that type of stuff early? So hopefully he's okay.
Yeah, hopefully. And we'll keep you updated with that. All right, more to do on the other side, including a giveaway. So keep it right here. Helmets and Heels, 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
From the first play ball to the final, your home for play-by-play is 1010XL.
When you're hungry, go big, and more importantly, go to Dailies, where they got anything and everything to tantalize your taste buds and fill you up. At Dailies, our barbecue beef brisket sandwich is slow smoked to perfection, tender, juicy, and full of bold flavor. It's the kind of sandwich that truly satisfies. Try the barbecue brisket sandwich at Dailies. Meanwhile, some favorites never go out of style. The Duval sub at Dailies is stacked, loaded, and made with the bold flavor you want in every bite. Fresh ingredients, big taste. It's a local favorite. Grab the Duval sub today at Dailies. Or maybe you just want a delicious chicken sandwich. Some choices just work. The chicken sandwich at Dailies is crispy on the outside, it's juicy on the inside, and it is full of flavor. Perfect for lunch, perfect for dinner, perfect anytime hunger hits. So grab the chicken sandwich today at Dailies. Dailies is made fresh, it's made local, and Dailies is built for big appetites. I'll see you there today.
It's a Helmets and Heels Tuesday, backed by Morgan & Morgan.
It's a week-long flash sale right now from Zero Res. 3 rooms of carpet cleaning for $125 and $5.99 air duct cleaning per unit. Book now before the offer disappears. Call 287-5727. Flash sale now through the end of the week. 3 rooms of carpet cleaning for $125 and air duct cleaning for $5.99 per unit. Call 287-5727. 287-5727. Zero Res. Spelled backward or forward, it's the right way to clean.
Indeed presents hires you can't afford to get wrong, like a data analyst.
Hey, what model did you use for these quarterly projections?
Astrology. If Mercury's in retrograde, sales tank. If Venus is rising, we crush Q4.
You built our revenue forecast off horoscopes?
Yeah, the Zodiac never lies.
This is the job for sponsored jobs. This is what happens when you don't sponsor your job on Indeed. Next time, get matched with quality candidates with Indeed sponsored jobs. Visit Indeed.com/hire now and sponsor your job today.
Tom McManus here for Armstrong Fence Company, a locally owned and operated business on the First Coast for nearly 20 years. Known for reliability, quality craftsmanship, and professional service, Armstrong Fence handles it all, from big projects like stadiums and schools to your very own backyard. They build a wicked strong fence, and they do it right the first time. When you need a fence in Jacksonville, trust Armstrong Fence Company. Yeah, we did the fence.
Did you know there's local savings sitting in your mailbox right now? Money Pages is packed with real coupons from your favorite local businesses. Save money at restaurants like Al's Pizza, on pet care at Forever Vets, and on entertainment for the whole family at the Alhambra Theater. Plus, make sure to download the Money Pages app for savings on the go.
Money Pages in your mailbox right now.
I'm Clayton Bromberg, the president of Underwoods. If you've ever wondered why some jewelry stores and department stores always have a sale going at 50 to 75% off, there's a good reason. Because most of the time, they're not real sales. The prices are marked up so they can sell the piece at a big discount and still make the profit they need. If you wanted to find a realistic sales event, the store wouldn't run a year-round sale, and the discounts would be a little more realistic. For example, Underwoods puts all of our diamond solitaire necklaces and ear studs on sale in May at 15% below the prices we sell at the rest of the year. So there's a genuine savings to the customer. We also take trade-ins. So it's the ideal time to buy for someone looking to grow their pendant or ear studs up to a larger size. Now at Underwoods, we don't run a lot of sales, but when we do, they're real and a good time to buy. So come see us at Underwoods. San Marco, Avondale, or the shops upon Avedra.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
Taylor Dahl, RJ Saunders. I'm Lauren Brooks with you. Tom McManus will join us in just a little bit. He is downtown at the Miller Electric Center, or at least he has been, taking in Jaguars OTA number 1. And time now to talk a little soccer. That's because we have some tickets to give away. That's right, a family 4-pack to go see Sporting Jack's men's team versus Brooklyn Football Club on Sunday. That's right, this Sunday, May 31st at Hodges Stadium. Be call number 4-641-1010. Call number 4-641-1010. And you are on your way to Hodges Stadium. I did see, Taylor Dahl, that the women did lose, unfortunately, that semifinals game. We chatted with the goalkeeper last week, and they battled. It was 1-0. And here's what stinks. Carolina since scored the first goal with only 6 minutes into the game, and then neither team.
Nobody scored after.
Yeah, scored a single goal after that. Which that's how soccer
good
goes.
for the goalies,
sometimes.
I guess, for the rest of the game.
Yeah, but I'm sure it's just still frustrating.
Good for them though. Year one, making it that far. We talked about just in general, and I know there's a lot of people around Jacksonville who are big soccer fans, and we're super excited having 2 professional leagues come to Jacksonville, and then so the first league of having obviously the women's league and being in the championship game, or heading, I guess if they won that one, they would head to the championship game. But getting that far, that year one, when we talk so much about how long it takes for teams to come together and build and kind of get in sync with things, and soccer is a big sport when it comes to being on the same page when you're talking about having to. And I'm not the biggest soccer fan, obviously, but when you're watching that sport, watch how everybody has to be on the exact same page at every single second of that game. And I feel like it has to take some time to adjust and kind of get in the flow of things. So for them to that quickly make it that far, I think is really exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. This Sunday's game, by the way, it's military appreciation for the Sporting Jacks men's team, and that game kicks off at 2 p.m. there at Hodges Stadium. Yeah, I mean, we talk about it, and especially with like Olympic sports and those teams that are formed.
How quickly you're playing with somebody you've never played with.
Right,
in
they're
your
formed
whole
with
life.
elite players, but it does take time. Absolutely, like the national teams. And so obviously also want to plug JJ's soccer podcast on the 1010XL podcast network, because if you are a soccer fan, he doesn't just talk about the U.S. men's national team or women's national team. It's a ton of soccer, international soccer as well. So I definitely wanted to mention that. I also wanted to mention when it comes to baseball, by the way, the Rays and the Braves now tied in with MLB's best winning percentage, .667.
Nice.
So yeah, they've just been neck
They've been
and
going
neck.
back and forth. Yeah.
They have been. Rays have lost the last 2 games, but either way. And then also
the Cubs have lost 9 straight. So,
oh, yikes. Something's got to pull them out of the slump.
There's like this joke right now at the time, because obviously if you go back in history, and the curse that started in the beginning was because of the goat that wasn't allowed in Wrigley, and that started this curse that was 108 years, and then you break it. Well, the owner of the Billy Goat Tavern passed away, and the Cubs haven't won a game since he passed away now. And so now everyone's like, oh no, like the curse is back, the goat curse is back. And so hopefully it's not. Hopefully they shake out of some of the slump but it's been rough baseball. It hasn't even been, I mean, guys that normally PCA is one of the best center fielders in Major League Baseball and has been dropping just fly balls out of nowhere all of a sudden ever since that like I think he is in his head, and I mentioned that on here. He is kind of fiery and has a lot of emotions, and so I feel like I honestly feel like maybe Craig needs to be like, you sit down a couple games and get your head right, because your head's spinning a little bit. But yeah, not fun to go. You have 2 10-game win streaks, and then you lose 9 straight. Is not ideal. But that is crazy too, because of those win streaks. You lose 9 straight and you're still only 3 games back in the division is crazy, because it feels like we should be like 6 games back at this point. But if they don't start winning soon, it's going to get out of control.
Yes. I do have an update on Wander Franco, who was the Rays shortstop there before some off the diamond or off the field issues for him. He was found criminally responsible for the sexual and psychological abuse of a minor. A judge in the Dominican Republic ruled yesterday, but he will not serve a sentence. He was given a judicial pardon because he was both a defendant and a victim of extortion in the case. What that means is the mom was also involved, and the mom was kind of, they believe, the judge believes, putting her daughter up for this and kind of basically allowing all of it to happen, almost encouraging it to happen so that she would eventually get money from Wander. And so he's not going to serve, I suppose, a sentence yet, but it will be interesting to see once the sentencing comes down June 16th exactly what happened, because it says even though he was pardoned, the conviction and sentence will still appear on his record. So they don't believe he'll ever be able to return back to baseball. But I mean, this has been going on now for years.
Yeah. Call me crazy, but mom and Wander both should serve some time, in my opinion. But I mean,
the mom, I believe, will serve time. But yeah, I don't really understand, obviously, Dominican Republic law and things like that. But it's very interesting that that's where we've come to after all of these different proceedings and everything like that. One other college note. Sorry for your loss in lacrosse yesterday. Were you watching?
I was watching. Okay.
Because you were up 3-1.
Yeah,
against
up
Princeton?
3-1 early, and then it just got. Next thing you know, it was 11-3, and so it quickly
Princeton went on an 11-0 run or 8-0 run, something like that.
Yeah, it was wild. But Notre Dame, I mean, their lacrosse, it's something. This would have been their 3rd national championship in 4 years, and so their lacrosse program has kind of stayed at the top in recent years, and they were just dominating everybody they played until Princeton, and so it kind of came at them quick. And honestly, the beginning of it,
team, right?
Yeah, and it did kind of seem at first when they were up 3-1. I was texting some of my friends. I was like, oh, here we go again, and then that changed very quickly. But I mean, it's exciting for them just in the sense of getting there again. And there's some of the guys, we've talked about it a little bit. Faison, who had been on the other 2 national championship teams, played for Notre Dame football too, was on the team that went to the national championship for Notre Dame football, decided not to play lacrosse this year. And so a lot of people are like, oh, well, if Faison was out there, maybe it would have looked a little different, because he was a massive part of those other 2 natties. So unfortunate for them, but go Princeton, I guess. Good for you.
I think it was their second title since 2000 or
Yeah.
something along those lines. A couple other notes. Flagler men's college tennis won the D2 NCAA national championship.
nice.
So shout out to Flagler. And then Columbia
They're having
softball
a good sports
team.
year.
They are. Columbia softball team, they won the state title over the weekend. So way to go, Columbia softball. And then Jacksonville Waves, wanted to mention they are 3-1 so far this season. So we always say this, Jacksonville is a phenomenal place to live in general, but then you add in all the different sports that we have professionally and minor league and whatnot, it's great.
Yeah, I think, and that's one thing, the support that our city gives to all types of sports and whatever level it is. You can go to a high school football game on Friday and it's packed and the fans are loud and rowdy and having a good time, and you can go to a women's basketball game or soccer game, or you could go to a hockey game, and everywhere you go, they are definitely super supportive. I got an email this morning about the Waves and how well they've been playing, and I can't remember her name right now, so forgive me for this, but one of the players is from Jacksonville, and I think she had like a double-double over the weekend. So you have some local ties too to the team, which I think is really cool too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It looks like some double-doubles by Ariel Hearn and Renaya Davis.
Okay.
So Renaya
Yes,
is
a couple
from
different,
here.
yeah.
Yeah, so there you have it. All right, Tom McManus will join us on the other side, talk some Jaguars. You are listening to Helmets and Heels, 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
1010XL.
Who's having a good time?
Duval's Good Timin' Sports Talk Radio.
Hey friends, Jason Parker here with Performance Painting. Have you ever stored a gallon of leftover paint, opened the can years later, and it's rusty, crusty, and unusable? Next time, secure the lid tightly to ensure no leaks and store the can upside down. Oxygen can't get to it, therefore no rust and no crust. If you'd like more tips or have a question about a project, we'd love to help. Go to performance-painting.com. Performance Painting. Prepare, protect, preserve.
Performance painting.
Helmets and Heels Tuesday is
Litigated by Morgan & Morgan.
Hey everybody, Mike Dempsey for big #1 Duval Ford. Look, if you're a busy mom or you're running kids all over town, you don't have time to sit in a service waiting room all day. That's why the Duval Ford mobile service is such a game changer. Duval Ford will come right to your home or work so you can keep doing what matters most. Duval Ford will handle the service without disrupting your day, so visit DuvalFord.com to schedule your next mobile service. Big #1 Duval Ford mobile service. Wherever you need them, they'll come to you.
He's covered the NFL for over 3 decades.
I know this wonderful game called football.
Catch CBS Sports senior NFL writer Pete Prisco Thursday afternoons on The Frangie Show. Brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles on 1010XL.
There's no doubt that we were in good hands when our son's shoulder and hip issues were diagnosed quickly by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. No matter what your orthopedic issue is, let Southeast Orthopedic Specialists take a look. You'll be glad you did.
David Garrard here. I've had the PRP treatment from Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, and my knees are really doing well. Platelet-rich plasma treatment may be the answer for whatever is hurting you.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Hey there, poker players. The Poker Atlas Tour is bringing 7 action-packed poker events to Best Bet St. Augustine from June 18th to the 28th, including the $600 no-limit hold'em title event with a $200,000 guarantee. Plus, don't miss Event 1, a $300 no-limit hold'em tournament featuring a $100,000 guarantee. Satellites are happening now at Best Bet St. Augustine. Visit bestbetjacks.com for tournament structures and all the details. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Northeast Florida's highest-rated residential home electrical contractor is American Electrical, providing unsurpassed quality in Duval, St. Johns, Clay, and Nassau counties. No matter your electrical problem or project, large or small, American Electrical will get it done at a price that's right. High-quality electrician, that's who they are. Trust a company that's been on the First Coast for decades, proudly serving the community while being a big part of the community. Call American Electrical for all your electric needs at 737-7770. Wired right at a fair price.
College football isn't just a season, it's a sisterhood. Bold Ladies is the women's membership group of the TaxSlayer Gator Bowl, where community, connection, and college football come together. This is Stacy from 1010XL, and I enjoy my membership. From exclusive events to networking, philanthropy, and unforgettable game day experiences, Bold Ladies is where women make an impact. Visit TaxSlayerGatorBowl.com and join today.
In this age of globalization, we've learned that bigger isn't always better. Ever tried to get phone help from a big corporation? From a real person? Good luck. That is what's so nice about Mike Merritt's Heating and Air. Unlike publicly traded conglomerates with headquarters in faraway cities, Mike Merritt's Heating and Air remains family-owned and operated by Mike, your neighbor. Mike Merritt has delivered hometown service, integrity, and pricing for generations. The big guys incentivize their techs to sell you new equipment. Mike's team emphasizes repair first. We only sell you equipment if your current equipment is worn out and beyond repair. And let's be honest about price. Small operations without much overhead can sometimes lowball your job, but you can't trust just anyone with a truck. They may be here today and gone tomorrow. Mike Merritt has been keeping North Florida cool for more than 3 decades. That's experience and dedication you can count on. Call today or see us on the web.
Florida license number CAC 050384.
This is your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. I'm RJ Saunders for 1010XL. This update brought to you by AMCO. The Jacksonville Jaguars will host the open mandatory minicamp practice on June 10th at Miller Electric Center. Tickets will be available for the Jaguars or on the Jaguars website starting tomorrow. While limited tickets are free, advanced registration is required for entry. 90 degrees at 3 o'clock. Time and 10 brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
Tom McManus is here. Tom, you look like you got some sun over the weekend.
Hello, I saw yesterday.
Okay.
You know, I told my wife and kids, I'm like, all right, we've been running and gunning all weekend.
Mhm.
All I want to do on Monday is nothing. Is sit in the chair on the beach, and we did till about 3 o'clock. Got really windy in the afternoon. It was wild. It kind of was whipping the sand around. But we were down there for about 3-4 hours, just, hanging out. But what a great weekend. Obviously a great holiday for us here in America, but an awesome time to celebrate, and we sure did plenty of that, I will say. But no, it was good. It was good. Yesterday, I got to tell you real quick. So I'm in the water with my Kelsey's boyfriend and our friend, whatever. So we're out there, and it's pretty rough out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it's never happened to me before in my entire life in the ocean. I got whipped so hard that I did a helicopter turn inside the wave. It was unbelievable. I got caught right as it whipped, and I went swinging, and I was like, holy cow, I think my whole back got adjusted. It was so wild how bad it whipped me. And I got up, and I was like, holy cow. I'm like, I got to get out of here.
Because you don't
way
go
too
in deep.
insane. Well, no, I like body surfing, but you couldn't catch any waves. I mean, it was coming from at you on all angles. So I'm like out there jumping, around, trying to hang with the young kids. They're in their 20s, and that's me. And that thing whipped the heck out of me. I was like, oh my gosh, I've never been tossed around like that in my entire life. But so be careful out there.
Well, the windier it is,
it's dangerous.
Yeah, the worse it is, obviously, in the water.
Sure.
Yeah.
Unless
it was
the wind
probably better
is,
Saturday and Sunday.
With the wind coming off the beach, that lifts the wave up. Then it cleans it out a little bit. Isn't that right?
That's what a surfer would tell you.
Yeah, I think so.
I am not a surfer.
Yeah, I'm not either. I wish. But no, did you guys have a great weekend?
I did.
Yeah.
Good.
I was just about to say I've gotten caught in some scary one where I'm like under the water and can't get up, and it's
Like a
terrifying
washing
when you
machine.
get back up. You're like, oh god,
Like, this is enough. One and
I'm
done.
good. I'm gonna go sit on the beach.
One
on my
and
chair.
done. But it was good weekend, and good to be out of practice for a little bit. The storms kind of came in early, so they moved them inside. It was really my first time, other than going. I went to the walkthrough on Legends Weekend last year.
Mm-hmm.
Really watching them practice. But they were moving, running and gunning. Doing a lot of different things, a lot of special teams, a lot of on-air offense and defense. By the time I left, I tried to stay for like an hour. They don't really do that much early. I mean, they just don't. God bless. They got to do what they got to do. I get it. You're warming up. You're doing your individual drills. You're doing your techniques. You're coming off the line. I watched the O-line. They were working with hand pads.
Mm-hmm.
Guy holding, working on like reach blocks, but they were emphasizing dipping those hips, hitting that bag. I heard the coach say to the guys holding the bag, saying, "Not about you. It's about them. Let them get you. Don't come full speed and try to stone them or nothing, but let them work their technique," because they were working on dipping right at the last second. Gives you a little extra power. But I tell you, the front five was their usual suspects.
Okay.
Yeah. McCary looked good. I mean, he didn't look like he was like his back was bothering. Like he looked healthy.
Yeah.
Look, like he's in good shape. Moving well. Anton looks like he's moving well.
You didn't see Cole Van Lanen.
No, I did not see Van Lanen. Didn't see Rodriguez, the running back. I was looking for him, but didn't see him.
But you did see Travis Hunter.
Did see Travis Hunter. Yeah, man. He wasn't running, but he was, he's not limping. I'll tell you that much.
And no brace?
No brace. I don't know if he's bounding, but he looked like, that guy when he walks, he's kind of bounding off his feet, like he's walking on clouds or something. But he was mimicking some offensive plays. I saw a cool formation. I'm not going to give it out, but a cool formation in 12-13. And it would be interesting how they did it and how they went out and passes. I'll tell you off
Good job holding you back.
Yeah. Well, you're not supposed, they don't want to say in that kind of stuff. So I didn't want to go there. But yeah, no, it was good. I mean, look, you can only tell so much from what they were doing. Durfee looks kind of big. I'm interested to seeing if he can really get after the passer.
You said LeQuint looks jacked.
LeQuint looks jacked. Like he looks like he spent the offseason in the weight room.
Yeah.
He looks quick.
Fighting some people, probably.
Maybe. I wouldn't be surprised if he spars for part of his workout. The kid from Virginia looks really quick. Jamari Taylor, I believe. Very, very quick. So yeah, we'll see. Again, they're not hitting each other. Parker Hughes looks fast. The linebacker, we talked about him. Just saw him kind of running down on kickoff and things like that. There's not, a whole lot that they can do, at least from when I was there. I'm sure this second hour, they're probably doing 7-on-7. They're probably doing team.
Yeah, according to Jamal St. Cyr, they've done some 7-on-7, and they've also done some 11-on-11 as well. Based off of what I'm reading, it looks like maybe the defense has a little bit of the edge. And also, Josh Hines Allen out there today, so I'm guessing he's training elsewhere.
Yeah, he does. I think he does that.
Yeah, he'll go out to Arizona.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, whatever. Just he'll be ready.
The year he did that, it was like the biggest deal, and then he had the 17.5 sack season that year. So whatever you need to do in your off season, you're putting in the work. You're putting in the work.
He'll be in shape. There's no, he's not a guy that you ever have to worry about whether he's in tip-top shape or not.
Did you
what I mean?
see Jordan Lewis or Caleb Ransaw?
I did not.
Okay.
I did not. Doesn't mean they weren't out there.
Demetrius said Jordan Lewis was working off to the side alongside Travis Hunter, but I haven't seen anything about Ransom.
Yeah, no, I didn't see. Again, they didn't really line up. They did a little bit on defense, but they were going against a scout team. So I was more in tune to watch the offense work on air and what they're doing. There's mostly running plays, a few pass plays here and there. Trev looked good. He looks like he's in shape. Ball came out quick and, nice tight spiral. I mean, that's all you can really see about that.
You do wonder, a guy like Chris Rodriguez being new to this team, even if he knows the offense somewhat from his days spent with Liam Cohen, surprised maybe he's not there just a little bit.
Yeah,
and again, these are voluntary.
Yeah, no, that's true.
But I would have expected to see Chris Rodriguez out there.
Yeah, I would have too. But look, who knows? I'm sure they're going to address it because it's noticeable that he's not out.
For sure, yeah. Liam Cohen will meet with the media at 4:00. Also, I think Grant Udinsky will meet with media, and then on the Frangie show, they'll have Liam Cohen, James Gladstone, and Tony Baselli all on while they broadcast from the Miller Electric Center today, 4 to 6. So that is appointment listening.
Yeah.
I mean, we're obviously appointment listening, but clearly that also is.
Well, that'll be one of the biggest conversations, the running back room, because you just lost all we've talked about.
Right.
Well, the majority that we've talked about this offseason is Devin Lloyd and Travis Etienne, and how do you replace those two guys? And so you're talking about 13 offensive touchdowns, and so the Chris Rodriguez and running back room in general is going to be one of the things we focus on a lot this offseason.
Yeah, and I mean, look, the running back room was part of the stink.
Yep.
The line was part of the stink, so they got to make sure that it's not stinky anymore. I read where Jamar Taylor's really good at blitz pickup, so I'm looking forward to seeing him in pads. I mean, obviously Tootin, he started out as the first back out there, just taking a handoff, no big deal. Like LeQuint looks quick. He looked, Jamar Taylor, DJ Dallas got a carrier too. So yeah, they, look, you want the reason they brought in Rodriguez was they're familiar with him, familiar with his game, like his game, think he's a bruising type running back. So, hopefully, he'll be back out there soon.
And it could be as early as next week, the next time we're able to go to the OTAs. But it could be that they also, in the OTAs that media is not invited to, they could also
Of course.
be more.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
No
Well,
need to
there's
panic, in other words.
No, and there's a handful of guys that weren't out there, so whatever. And maybe, I don't know, maybe something went down, he tweaked a hammy or whatever.
It could be that. It could also just be before joining the Jacksonville Jaguars, he was scheduled to be in someone's wedding over Memorial Day weekend. Right? Like, you have no idea.
Exactly.
We have no idea.
No doubt about it.
We
no
just,
doubt. They'll address it in about an hour. So
exactly.
And they'll figure out where he was. I didn't see Cole. I wanted to see Cole. But the O-line, look, I thought they looked, again, they're on air, but the front five is quick. I will say though, I'm surprised we don't have a little competition at center. You know what I mean?
Between Jonah Monheim and Robert Hainsey, or someone else and Robert Hainsey?
Yeah, maybe a third. I know Wormley was playing a little center for him today.
I'd like to see some competition.
I think so. I mean, I don't know. Look, I think you talk about this stink. The part is at center guard position. Well, the one guard, Ezra, has proven that he's what you need.
Yeah,
you want him as your guard, one of your guards. Left guard, he's been playing, and then a Pregnant's a guard. You're clearly saying like, look, we want bigger, beefier, more move you out of the way. And look, Hainsey was awesome for what we needed him for. I'm not saying they're looking to make a change because he's number one, clearly. But I just thought maybe there would be, and I don't know, maybe Monheim is going to give him a run for his money, or they're going to give him an opportunity for that run.
Patrick McCary has played center before, so it could be that there's a battle for the right guard position between Wyatt Milam and Emmanuel Pregnon, the obviously the two younger guys, and then there's a battle between Hainsey, Monheim, and and McCary for that center battle.
Yeah. McCary looked good. He's in shape. I mean, I didn't know what else to expect. I mean, he's,
Sure.
And
we shouldn't be surprised if there's no Caleb Ransall and Colby Lynn in there, because they told us they wouldn't be able to participate until certainly closer to training camp. But Travis Hunter was in that group too, and Travis Hunter was at least able to be out there. Travis strikes me as the person, we were talking about his personality in hour one of the show, Taylor, but like he would have FOMO if he had to miss anything.
Yeah, not
and
anything.
I'm sure he had a lot of that in the back half of last season if he wasn't able to attend certain things. And we did see videos of him at the Broncos game, like there in a suite.
Yeah,
but that's still not with your teammates in the locker room.
Yeah, I do. I remember they said you expect to see him and Jordan Lewis there, but off to the side is what I remember them saying early on. Like they're to that point where they're almost ready to be out there, so they're going to be able to do some of the off to the side workouts and kind of their own thing. Which the videos you see of Travis Hunter, of everybody that's out there today posting, like to your point, it's not like he's full sprinting, but he's definitely moving, and he looks like it doesn't look comfortable, which is what you want to see.
He's not in a brace, which means they're comfortable that it's solid. That it doesn't need that lateral, brace, if you will, support, if you will. So that's a good sign for sure. Yeah.
And I know Colvin Lennon's not in a brace. I can confirm that too. So that's at least good news as far as all these injuries are concerned. All right, more to do on the other side, including Tom's Take. You are listening to Helmets and Heels 1010XL and 2.5 FM.
It's a Helmets and Heels Tuesday.
Backed by Morgan & Morgan. For the people. Dial pound law.
Bringing the heat. Throwing gas. Tossing aspirins. Blowing smoke. Zinging BBs. Firing missiles. Zipping darts. Threading the needle. Let's see if my colleague in the booth here has anything to add.
1010XL, Jacksonville Sports Radio.
When it comes to glass, you don't want average. You want flawless. Duval Glass and Mirror has transformed homes and businesses across Jacksonville for over 35 years. Frameless showers that wow. Mirrors cut exactly to your style. Fogged or broken glass replaced. Decorative tabletops. Windows replaced or repaired to stand up to Florida storms. All backed by a 100% guarantee. Visit DuvalGlass.com for your free quote. There's only one name for glass and mirror around these parts. It's Duval!
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler with a beautiful selection of fine jewelry and certified diamonds. But we're also Jacksonville's leading buyer of gold, silver, and diamonds from the public. Gold has recently hit an all-time high at over $5,000 per ounce, and silver is over $100 per ounce. Pay bills, buy something fun. Now is the time to sell your gold and silver for cash and get top dollar, or trade it in for a new piece and get even more at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
When you want to know what's happening in Gainesville, roll with the Gator Report. I'm Joe C. Listen for updates on Florida Gator athletics several times a week on 1010XL. Built by Cash Building Material. Windows and doors done right.
Go, Gator!
When you're a little kid on the playground, they tell you don't hit back. Well, the courtroom isn't a playground. And if you've suffered an injury or death in your family, I'm here to tell you it's okay to hit back and fight to make them pay. I'm attorney Brett Hastings, and at Hastings Injury Law, we understand all the pain and emotion that comes with being wrong. And we've dedicated our lives to making things right for people like you. So if you get hit, hit back with Hastings Injury Law. Offices, Jacksonville.
Hey folks, it's Frank Frangie. When you buy tires, you should get more than just tires. You should get value that lasts. Well, at Big Chief Tire, every tire purchase comes with their Extra Mile program. That means $10 off every oil change, free tire rotations, free tire repairs, and more every time you visit. No points, no gimmicks, just real savings from a local shop you can trust. Call 904-932-0950 or visit WeKeepJacksRollin.com. That's how you take care of your car the right way.
Attention men and women. If you would like to get your hair back, then you need to listen to some of our clients. John in Orange Park.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Call IHRS now at 904-777-IHRS. Find out how to grow your hair back with a free hair and scalp examination. Diane from Ponte Vedra.
Now I have what lotions couldn't give me. Thick, beautiful hair.
Hurry and receive a free hair and scalp examination and get 2 weeks of laser treatments for free. Call IHRS at 904-777-4477. Hairforme.com.
What rock and roll band is mentioned in the song Smoke on the Water? The answer coming right up.
For over 20 years, Southern Oak Insurance has given Floridians a better alternative to their current homeowner's policy. See what you can get with Southern Oak. Log on to southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
The rock and roll band mentioned in Smoke on the Water? Frank Zappa and the Mothers of Invention.
Southern Oak Insurance, our family protecting yours.
Hey, it's Greg. So I'm 3 weeks into Awaken 180 now, and I'm already down over 18 pounds. 18 pounds in 3 weeks. It's funny, I kept waiting for the part where this felt like one of those sad desk salads, 3 leaves, a tomato, and regret. But it hasn't. I'm eating its food I actually like, and now my sons are coming over and saying, hey, let me try that. And that's been a surprise. I thought Awaken 180 was kind of going to feel a little bit like punishment, but it doesn't one bit. I've got my coach Mandy helping me stay locked in, making adjustments, and keeping me from doing what I always did before. No pills, no injections, no fluff, just a simple plan I can actually follow and stick with. I kept saying, I'll do it next month, then next month. But then 3 weeks ago, I finally shut up and got started. Hacker, Matt, Mike, Amber, they all told me Awaken 180 works. And honestly, it's been even better than they said. So what are you waiting for? Do what I did. Call 844-346-1800 or go to awaken180weightloss.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
McManus, Taylor Dahl, RJ Saunders. I'm Lauren Brooks with you. All right, we've got a question from the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Y'all can always get in on the action. 904-641-1010. But Taylor, you want to ask Tom the question?
Yeah, so the 4644 said, how exactly do the new tight ends improve or complement the attack run? Just extra bodies or push? And that was his question. But obviously the ability to help run block is going to be massive, but you have to be a good blocker.
Right. Again, the idea is like, if I can get them into nickel, because you're worried about my tight ends being a threat in the receiving game. Like, you're going to take one backer out and put a DB in.
Right, 5 defensive backs.
Yeah. Well, if my tight ends can outmaneuver, outman, or outmuscle that DB that's trying to cover him in the run game, you've improved the run blocking just on that one-on-one matchup.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So the idea is they're going to be really good run blockers, and then we're going to get that defense to change personnel. And if not, they just got to be really good run blockers. And then you'll get some push. But the idea is to it's kind of like just getting that smaller guy out there so you can pound on them a little bit. It was a lot like with, a lot that they still do, like with nickel, if they spread you out, they can still pound the football because you only have 6, sometimes 5 in the box. Yeah. And if you only have 5 and they've got 5, if they go hat on hat, the run game's going somewhere. Yeah. You know what I mean? They're just going to, unless you can shed get rid of them, and then make a play at the line. You know what I mean? So, but if they're really good run blockers, hey, whoever lines up, you got to take them on and move them. I think that's what they're, look, Borkature is known for that. We know that Quentin Morris can do that. We know Brenton can do. Brenton was working off to the side. I was talking to Frank. We're about, I don't know, 5-6 feet from him. And after he walked through, I'm like, that guy's a stud. Like he is big, and like he kind of jogged away, and you can see just how athletic he is. He's running on his toes and seems real easy, And I'm like, that's an athlete right there. Frankie's like, oh my gosh, Frank gets all excited. But I was like, yeah, he looks good, man. I hope he can stay healthy.
Yeah,
they
if
need
you can
him
impress
healthy.
someone that sees them on the plane week in and week out, then that is something. Okay, so after rookie minicamp, you weren't necessarily that excited about Nate Borkature, just as far as his movements. You expected him to be a little bit more fluid.
Yeah, I just thought he'd
What about
be
today?
And there wasn't enough to really see. And again, I had to leave, to get here, so I didn't really get to see them do any 7-on-7 or team or anything like that. So, look, that's going to be again. You go back to that 12-13. Can I get them to change? If Nate can forget his 40 time, can he get open and make plays? If he can, and that backer has trouble covering him, that defense coordinator is going to go, you know what? We better get our safety in there. Let's get our third safety and see if we can help, lock this up a little bit.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I don't know if he can or not, but obviously they drafted him high they think he has the potential to have that, but they believe he's the number one blocking tight end in the draft.
Absolutely.
We'll
By the way, did you see that your college baseball team advanced to regionals?
I did. I absolutely did. I know they
Not
got shellacked by Miami. Miami beat them up 8-2, I think. And then they got a 2 seed, didn't they, or something like that?
Well, so in the regionals,
In the regional,
there's
what I mean.
4 total seeds. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The case was
2.
I was like, 2 seeds out of 4, Tom. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's
good.
how they do it.
Still
So
good.
Georgia has the number 1 seed in that regional in Athens.
Yeah.
And so Boston College plays Liberty in the first game on Friday, and then
Okay.
Georgia plays LIU, which we've talked about LIU so often because that's who Florida opened up with, Long Island. Florida opened up with in football.
Of course.
But yeah, so it's going to be a tough, contest going up if you play Georgia on
At least they're in.
Saturday.
I'm happy they're in.
And Liberty coming off of they're the ones that had the 2 that
was Lipscomb.
Lipscomb. Okay.
Yeah,
right,
Liberty.
right.
Liberty
They had a
used to be in the
16
A-Sun.
inning game and then a 10 inning game.
Oh, really? Wow. That's Lipscomb's during the
A-Sun.
JU, UNF. Yeah,
that's why we
rotation.
talked about them because they won the A-Sun and then advanced.
I want to know when Florida and Texas Tech you're going to play again. That's what I want.
That is not
Let's have a
unfortunately
meet
going
in
to
the-
happen because Texas Tech will be in Oklahoma City and Florida will be at home.
Ah.
Yeah, they
Well,
won.
what if they each advance, maybe?
Florida's already out. Texas
they're
Tech
out.
knocked Florida
Oh,
out
I
by
didn't know.
run ruling them in Gainesville. Are you trying to bring up
No, I didn't
bad
know.
memories?
I
Get
thought,
fresh.
hey, I'm a day late and a
No,
dollar
you're good.
short
So
on that
was
one.
the super regional. So
Okay.
softball is ahead of baseball schedule-wise. So softball now has already played their regionals. And then their super regionals. Now they're
Okay.
down to 8 teams that go to the Women's College World Series in Oklahoma City.
So when I'm sorry to cut you off.
You're
When
good.
you lost to Georgia, right?
In baseball.
In baseball, I'm talking
In the
baseball.
SEC baseball
But you still
tournament.
got into the tournament.
Of course,
But then
yes.
you played Texas A&M first. Is that what you're saying? And they beat you?
So
No,
Texas
that was
Okay,
all
no,
softball.
Okay.
Texas
Texas
Tech.
Oh,
Tech
that was
softball.
softball.
That was softball,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. So I didn't
Texas
see that.
Tech, Florida was
Okay.
softball,
Yes.
and then Florida played Georgia,
okay.
lost to Georgia,
Okay.
but they still were seeded.
Despite
into
being
getting-
up 6-0
Yeah, no,
at one point in time. And then Georgia came back, and then there was a weather delay, and all that. There's no excuses. Georgia won the whole SEC tournament. They
Right.
won the regular season. Georgia's really good. Again, that's where Boston College will travel
Yeah,
to.
right.
And
Yeah.
it'll be
Yeah.
tough sledding, but either way.
Yeah.
But yeah, in baseball, they're just now at the regionals.
Okay, I
Those
gotcha.
were announced yesterday. Well, we knew
Right.
the 16 teams that would be hosting. We didn't know which of the other 3 teams would be in each of those regionals. So the bracket came out yesterday
Okay.
in baseball. And
I heard
then
you
it'll be
guys
super
talking earlier, go
regionals.
64-16 in the first weekend,
Yes,
right?
just like it did
Just
in
like
softball.
it does in-
Same
Okay.
with baseball, and then it'll go 16-8, and those 8 go to Omaha for the College World
Okay,
Series.
gotcha.
And let's hope at that point in time that Florida's still alive. I need something, people. I had a natty in men's basketball last year. I've had nothing this year.
Ooh, that's right.
All right, time now for Tom's take.
Now, Tommy's Takes. Protected by Morgan & Morgan. ForThePeople.com. Or dial #law. That's all.
All right, my take today on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon is, hey, listen, you're going to hear a lot of reports about today. You might even get some like 7-on-7 completion numbers from certain guys that like to chart that with the quarterback. Good or bad, throws a pick, throws a touchdown. It does not matter. They're very vanilla, obviously. It's very early. And let's not get fooled by camp like maybe we did a little bit. I know I did last year, wondering with the O-line and who's going to block who and what's going to happen. Obviously, they're starting the process, and they're all out there. I like what I see out of our team so far, just as far as being in good shape. They look big. They look fast. I'm sure a lot of NFL teams feel that way on this date as well. So don't get carried away one way or the other. The good news is your guys that were injured last year are coming back. It looks pretty good and promising in that regard, including our star player. So that looks good, but overall, man, it's just early in the process. And I tell you what, it was great. I was walking in with one of the staff guys, and great guy, and I said, "All right, here we go." He's like, "Are you ready?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm ready. It's here, man.
Yeah,
it's here." So it's gonna be a great year. But take it in stride when you hear the reports after today's OTAs, and that's my take. Brought to you by Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com, or on your cell at Pound Law. That's all.
Yeah, just if you read through Jamal St. Cyr from News4Jax, his reports, it's like pass complete, pass incomplete, pass complete, pass incomplete. Don't ride the highs and lows of every pass completion.
It's cool that he does it. Yeah, it's fine, but you can't.
His fingers fly. I tell you that much.
For the record, nobody touches the QB in these things. You
Yeah.
are not allowed. You're not allowed to go near him. Like, you get yelled at if you go, leave the don't, and they don't want you on the ground. They don't want you running over people. They don't want you, if you beat somebody, you beat them, but you don't bury them into the ground and finish your block and that kind of stuff. So it's a totally different
get out of this healthy
thing. Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
They want to, progress and especially teach those young guys the ways of the Jacksonville Jaguars. But they want to survive healthy.
Well, and I will say, I mean, a big conversation this offseason, too, is obviously going to be Brian Thomas Jr. also and what that looks like this season. And when you read through them, the one he was targeting him, and then Eric Murray picked it off, and then there was another incomplete, and then everybody else has caught the balls. So that's going to be part of the conversation this offseason, that connection between Trevor and BT and how quickly they can get that going, because it took far too long last year to feel like there was any sort of timing between the two of them that made sense for this offense.
Now, on air, they had a nice connection, which doesn't mean anything. Yeah. But at least there was a nice connection over the middle. Okay. Nice throw, nice catch in stride. It seemed pretty easy. I wasn't there live for the Murray, pick and whatnot, and how that went down. But yeah, I mean, listen, they're installing, the offense and the defense and the special teams. They're showing how we practice. They're starting over with the vets. Like, hey, man, square one. Let's go. We got to build this thing. So they got all that going on. They're keeping everything vanilla. They want everybody healthy. They want them to understand what it's like to work and how we're going to work. I bet you they wish they were out in the sun, because it was once the rain went away, it was perfect to indict these guys into the weather and how
Florida.
It's going to be. It's going to be even more. Yeah, exactly. So
I do feel like they have been in Jacksonville long enough now to know, pretty much every afternoon from now until October.
Yeah.
There's going to be a little rain.
There's probably going to be some sort of storm and rain. That's just kind of how our weather goes. If you check the 10-day forecast, you'll see chance of thunderstorms and rain every single day, because that's, especially this time of year too, that's what happens. And I'm not going to go into the whole drought thing, but obviously we quote unquote do need the rain and things like that. By the way, last night, for the people that were shooting off fireworks.
Oh, yeah, I heard them.
You have got to be kidding me. It's, I guess I get upset because we know they're going to happen around the 4th of July. Yeah. We know they're going to happen around New Year's. But for those military members, and I know some of them, that the fireworks are not good for them. Like, they have PTSD from their time in the service.
Yeah. The more triggering.
And they are not expecting them. That's when it's even worse. So, come on, man.
I didn't hear any, but on my side of town.
We lost a dog on 4th of July, July 3rd.
Right. Yeah, I remember that story.
We believe we weren't there, that she escaped the yard because of a fire.
Terrified of fireworks.
Scared her.
Yeah.
She took off looking. And she found heaven, but she didn't find us. Yeah, no, it was sad. It was really bad. But
it's awful.
And those dogs, a lot of dogs they just don't like, they can't
Ours
stand
is one
that.
of them.
Yeah.
And I wasn't prepared in giving medicine ahead of time because I didn't expect fireworks. And so gave him medicine just.
Go on the beach. I don't know. Get away from the neighborhoods.
Yeah.
So it's not so.
I always sound so old talking about fireworks. But once you have a dog that's scared, and then, like I said, people that they really do get PTSD type moments. Like, again, if you know when they're coming, then it's one
You can
thing.
prepare for it, or at least
Correct.
prepare
I don't
yourself or your dog or your child or whatever the case may
I don't remember
be.
Memorial Day fireworks being a thing.
Yeah.
Especially when we're in a drought and they've been telling people,
By the way,
don't
yeah,
shoot
no,
off fireworks.
Yeah, exactly.
Again, whatever. All right, more to do on the other side, including the golden moment. You are listening to Helmets and Heels, 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
Because sports is what we do.
That feels like an oversimplification.
1010XL.
In the game of vehicle performance and reliability, Atlantic Infiniti is always the top pick. This is Hayes Carlion. Did you know that every certified pre-owned Infiniti is inspected, factory-backed, with a limited warranty, and gets the same championship-level service as a brand-new Infiniti? Every mile will feel like first class. Check out their full certified inventory now at AtlanticInfiniti.com or visit Atlantic Infiniti off Atlantic near St. John's Bluff.
Frank Frangie here. I've been telling you about Stanley Pools for years. But you know my favorite thing about this family-owned company? They take such good care of my pool. All I have to do is relax and enjoy it. Stanley Pools has been the best in the business since 1988, and their weekly maintenance makes owning a pool effortless. You can trust Stanley Pools to build your pool or upgrade it. They've done both for me. Call 904-269-7277 or find them online at StanleyPoolsFL.com. Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
Helmets and Heels Tuesday. Protected by Morgan & Morgan.
Attention skilled electricians. Are you undervalued at your current company? Time to step up to the bigger projects and better opportunities. Join the team at Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering not just the job, but an experienced, top-notch pay, unbeatable benefits, and the best working environments in the business. Please join the team that values your skills and rewards your hard work. Elevate your career to new heights. Apply today at millercareers.com, an equal opportunity employer.
The experts at AMCO have been fixing cars for almost 60 years. Over that time, they've gotten more complex than ever. That's why our techs undergo rigorous training and certifications, so they can fix anything, including the most complicated repairs that come with some of the latest technologies. After 60 years, there's nothing we haven't seen or fixed. It's how we know cars inside and out.
Money tight? We can finance almost anybody. Find the AMCO transmissions nearest you at AMCOJacksonville.com.
What defines a hero? Dedication, loyalty, courage. Every day at AMCO, we serve heroes. For over 60 years, we've repaired and maintained the most critical public service vehicles. From complex transmissions to simple brake jobs with flexible financing and the extra safety precautions we need. The heroes we serve don't all wear uniforms. They're people like you. At AMCO, we're proud to serve all of you. AA MCO.
Family owned and operated in Jacksonville, Orange Park, St. Augustine, and St. Mary's, Georgia.
The 2026 schedule is here, and Jaguars football is officially back at the bench. With limited capacity this season, it's more important than ever to show up loud and create the ultimate home field advantage. From our biggest rivalries to can't-miss matchups, this is a season you won't want to miss. Single game tickets are on sale, and now's the time to lock in your seats for the games that matter most. Inventory is limited, and tickets are expected to go fast. Visit Jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000.
Credit card interest rates are now over 29%. Most people are only making the minimum payments, so they're getting nowhere. Hey, Prosser here, but here's what many homeowners don't realize. Using the equity in your home, you can easily access hundreds of thousands in cash. With Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can pay off your credit cards, your existing HELOC, your car loans, or get money for that home improvement project. One client just got $100,000 approved and saved over $1,500 a month. Here's the best part. With Loan Pronto, you can do it all from your phone. With zero out-of-pocket, no hard credit pull up front, no appraisal, no long drawn-out bank process, and no touching your first mortgage. Rates are at a near 3-year low. Act now. Go to loanpronto.com. See how much you can get in about 60 seconds. Loan Pronto, 2,800 5-star Google reviews. Call 904-999-1508 or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
1010XL, presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Now, the Monaghan's golden moment. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach, your local family jewelers.
Golden moment going back to some of the conversation we were having at the top of the show. Tommy, before you got here, all of the SEC meetings that are going on, stuff coming out of this, Eli Drinkwitz coming out, and we've seen some of the coaches being very vocal about the possible expansion to 2014 playoffs, some of the other issues they feel like have kind of surfaced in recent years and what they like and don't like. But Eli Drinkwitz had a couple comments. One of those, Lauren, I mentioned this one, I couldn't remember the exact quote, but he said, I remember last year we were told that if we went to 9 games, the SEC schedule, the Big Ten would go with the 16-team playoff. And so he's saying they told him that, but now the Big Ten's obviously still pushing for the 24 team. So there was some discrepancy there. And that's when I said, that's just kind of one of the handshake agreements. We're like, yeah, sure. Yeah. we'll say this.
Wink, wink.
But they already went to 9 conference games.
Right.
Yeah, they already had officially agreed to that.
Correct.
Yeah.
And obviously when the conference is good, not top to bottom, but certainly one of the better conferences in college football. I can't say the best since the Big Ten has won the last few national championships, but a 9-game conference schedule is more difficult than an 8-game conference schedule. You got to choose those.
And they're
other
saying
opponents.
we're doing it too, is their argument. It's not like they're just saying SEC, you have to do it, and that's it. But another comment he had, he said, if you put, and this one to me is interesting, and I know we'll, as these discussions get further and further, have more conversations about it. But he said if you put 24 teams or 12 teams in a playoff, I'm not sure the best team always wins it. The team that gets hot or has the best matchup may end up winning, is another quote from Eli Drinkwitz after all of this. And that's what some of because immediately, and I've heard, and I get the argument of, okay, once you get it to 24 teams, it's going to, and a lot of people are saying, water it down when it comes to certain teams. You may have a team get into the college football playoff at that point who has 4 losses or whatever the case may be. And my thing that I push back a little bit on is in the sense of, we've had this conversation of how much closer college football is getting to the NFL. And the NFL, you have more games, and that 3-4 loss, someone getting into the postseason, doesn't necessarily mean it's watered down or a good team's not getting in. And so it will be interesting to me to see how this all plays out and what it looks like. To me, the bigger problem is you keep changing all these things and you're not even letting them live long enough to see what it really looks like for a certain period of time. It's, hey, we're going to do this for 1 or 2 years and then we're going to change it again. So you never really get to see a full outcome of what something looks like. And that to me is the bigger problem, because I think that if you give, let's say, the 12 teams, you sign a contract that says we're going to do this for 6 years, and after 6 years, then we will reevaluate what this looks like. If we're getting the product we want out of it, is it too many? Could we see a world where, putting it to 16 makes sense, or whatever the case may be? But you never really get to test that out if you're changing it every single year of what it looks like. And any rule changes
over 16 teams.
Yeah, you're just going straight to 24.
Yeah, why would you double it? Have we ever seen any other league or sport completely double their postseason tournament? No.
Well,
that doesn't make
there's also
sense.
not like hundreds and hundreds of teams that are competing, or hundreds of teams competing in most of the leagues we're talking about. But I do think that there's a process, and I think they could do the process a lot better. And that to me is the problem, because it's almost just, it's greedy is what it is. And we talked about it at the top of the show, Lauren. It's about money, and it's about yourself and what gives your program the best chance to get in, or what gives your program the most money, or what gives, and this is different from school to school. Some schools are just like, hey, we only have a chance if it goes to 24. So let it, we can make the top 25, but we're probably never going to make the top 12. So get us in there, though, and you never know what can happen type of situation. And so I do think it's interesting in that aspect, but we'll see what this goes to. It will be wild to all of a sudden go from 12 to 24, and I feel like that's just going to be a very knee-jerk reaction.
I don't like that. Look, I know, I'm a little different in thinking, but even for years in the bowl system, I'd always be like, 6 and 6 should not be rewarding. You don't get a bowl. You go home. You're average. Average doesn't deserve a bowl game at all. And I know you could say, well, they don't really make money. It's the experience. Well, not everybody gets a freaking trophy. Yeah. I thought we are over that by now. You know what I mean? And it feels like if you go to 24, then it's like, okay, well, why don't you just let everybody in? Next thing you know, it'll be 30. Then it'll be 32. And then you'll be like, oh my gosh, it's like anybody. You can get in at 6 and 6. You almost have a chance to win the title. No, you don't deserve any chance near that tournament when you're that kind of record. So I always felt like, look, a bowl game, 8 and 4 better. go home if not. 7-5 is not even that good. So what? It's a winning record. It's not even that good. You should go home. I use an old quote my old quarterback said. The only bowl you should go to is the one I got off of. All right? That's what he would say to all the opponents when they talked about bowl games. But I feel like it's kind of like that. Like, it's almost like, it's okay. Let's just give them the trophy. Let's give them the award. Let's give it the opportunity to get into this tournament. It's a prestigious tournament. I mean, not everybody gets in. Not everybody wins. I don't know. I think 12's enough. Like, you go even to 16. I don't know. Because then it's going to be, well, what about 8? What about these two? Every year, there'll be, well, look how close they were. They should have. Oh, their schedule. Oh, week 5, Jimmy stubbed his toe, and he's a star quarterback. We had to put in our backup. Whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? It's just going to be too much. Just keep it at 12 and make them earn it.
It would have been 9-4, would have been the worst record that got in, and that would have been Iowa, USC, Michigan.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
like
including the argument is it's like North Texas and Navy who are 12-2 and 11-2, and a Houston who is 10-3, and people are like, do those teams who maybe didn't play high competition teams but are 11-2 deserve to get in because you're ranked 23rd or 24th. That's where that conversation would come in. But they're beating the teams they're playing, and that's the schedule they were handed. If we're going to do that, Miami's schedule is go look at their schedule for this next year, and then tell me if you feel like that if they go 11-2, that it's that all of a sudden it's guaranteed they're one of the best. I think we know you watch the eye test, you have an eye test, and you know what football teams are good. But that's where the argument. I don't think all of a sudden a team that lost 6 games is getting into the college football playoff.
In comparison to, you know what I mean? Because like if you go back to when it was just four teams. A 4-loss team ain't anywhere near that.
Oh, no.
Nowhere close. You're like no one's even looking at you. A 3-loss team's not even getting in.
Why didn't we go
2-loss,
from 4 to 8?
Yeah.
And then have 8 for a few years and then decide, okay,
Then,
let's expand to 12. And then we'd at least now be in the very first year probably of 12. And then people could have the conversation. They always want to make sure that they don't, quote unquote, lead the champion home, a potential champion, right? Is there a team that didn't make the playoffs that you felt like could win it all? Well, then that goes back to, you didn't think Tulane could win it all.
Right.
So, but James Madison, you didn't think they could win it all, but they got in because you felt bad for them.
Well, you never know. I think you always hope that maybe there's an upset. And I feel like in the NFL, it's similar. There's certain teams that win their division that only win 8 games and they're in, and you don't expect them to win the Super Bowl, but that's just what the playoffs look like. And
which is why they've discussed maybe changing
not doing that. Like, they've changed the seeding.
The seeding, right.
Yeah, they'd still be in, but they just wouldn't be, just because you won the division wouldn't give you one of those top seeds. But I do think that there's always the what if something happens where this team that does a Tulane or whoever ends up upsetting. What if all of a sudden, like Indiana, in the way that Indiana wins a national championship, which obviously this is a large part in Cignetti and what he did, but people weren't talking about that 5 years ago of Indiana being able to win a national championship.
No.
And then now what happens is you get them into the college football playoff and people are like, oh, I can go to Indiana and I can start, and we can have the possibility of winning a national championship, or I can go sit on the bench at Alabama and have a chance, but I want to play football. So let me go to one of these schools that, I can get in if it's a 16-team league, and then you can recruit better and you have a chance. And so I think they're just trying to broaden the schools that can be competitive. And I think how you make a school competitive is putting them on the map and for people to feel like they have a chance to win a title there. And so I do think, to me, my mind goes to that more so of maybe they don't win the national championship, but they can recruit better. And some kids may want to go to the school because they have a chance of even seeing the college football playoff when 5 years ago they didn't.
Which they did at 12 teams. So we don't need to double and go to 24 teams in order for teams that were off the radar 5 years ago to be able to get in. But I'm also someone who watches college football every Saturday. I will order my life around watching college football on Saturdays. And the reason I do that is because every Saturday means so much. You cannot have 3 losses and expect to get into the postseason, right? Like that's what
like we're already there. So what does it matter if you add
that's what I'm saying. I don't think it should. That's what I'm saying. Like,
no, I
many.
get it. It's cap it at 12.
Too many.
But that's how I've felt.
Yeah, I disagree, but it's fine.
All right.
You like them all in?
Yeah. Not everybody.
Not all.
I think
know
24 would be pushing it a little bit. 16, I have no issue with whatsoever.
4 losses though, like even 3. Like what if they're in your conference?
Yeah, like Alabama was 11-4 last year. And so that was some of those conversations of those cuts. But I think sometimes the situation of how it matters, I do think they need to reevaluate how they rank the teams in that sense, because I don't think they do the best job of saying, hey, these are the absolute best 15 teams. But I think last year you could put 16 teams in there and you would have seen some competitive games throughout the entirety of it. I do think 24, you'd start pushing it.
Yeah. Well, Notre Dame should have been in before the other two. Those other two still would have lost. 16-24 wouldn't have mattered. Unless they played someone closer to them. But
which that first round, you like,
maybe.
Who knows what it looks like. And that's, I think 24 is pushing, but I don't think it'd be a problem with 16.
Breaking news hitting the NBA world, RJ. Kenny Atkinson is returning as coach of the Cleveland Cavaliers. The reason I'm mentioning it is your team just lost in the Eastern Conference Finals, and we have to make that breaking news that you're returning as the coach. Like, I know you got swept and all by the Knicks, but still, I feel like you got there. That should be impressive to me. But all right. The best of the day on the other side. You're listening to Helmets and Heels on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Live streaming from the XL Digital Studios. Brightened by Harbor Dental Care, Jacksonville's first choice for dental emergencies.
And that concludes the Josie Jack of All Trades show. Tune in next week where I'll be installing my own French drain.
Joe, wake up, man.
Hey, John, I must have dozed off.
We finished those projects you started.
Whoa, my seamless gutters are actually seamless.
And they're connected into underground PVC drain lines.
And my sprinklers. Wow, look at that coverage.
Next time, just call me first, Joe.
I will, but I ain't singing that song.
Clear water irrigation
and drainage too.
Hey, life can get a little hectic at times, and no one has time to get hurt, lost wages, injuries that not only hurt, but ones that hinder our success. If you're in this position due to the negligence of another, you deserve to be paid. Hey, Jacksonville, Tom McManus here. Injuries suck, and I know it, and if you get injured out there, check out Morgan & Morgan, the largest personal injury law firm in the country. 100 offices, over 1,000 lawyers with plenty of firepower to handle any and all personal injury cases that you may be dealing with. They make filing a claim easy and don't get paid unless you do. Morgan & Morgan, for the people. Visit forthepeople.com or hit pound law from your cell. Pound law, that's all.
Welcome to Key Buick GMC, proudly family-owned and operated since 1943. Come see why they're North Florida's new and pre-owned truck center, conveniently located on Southside and JTB, just minutes from the St. John's Town Center. At Key Buick GMC, every new vehicle comes with our lifetime powertrain warranty. Key Buick GMC, we are professional grade. Online at keybuickgmc.com. Lifetime powertrain warranty covers engine, transmission, drivetrain only. Exclusions apply. See dealer for details.
Helmets and Heels Tuesday
is served by
Morgan & Morgan.
Hey, this is Tony from Tony D's New York Pizza. You believe I've been making pizza here in Jacksonville for over 20 years? Thanks for the support and good times. We appreciate your business, and we're looking forward to another 20 years. Come out and see us at Tony D's New York Pizza, Bay Meadows and 295.
With 50 years of fabrication expertise in towing products, the family at Cannons of Jacksonville can repair or install precisely what you need to tow with confidence. Visit cannonsofjacks.com, where quality and customer satisfaction collide.
Frank Frangie here with Coach Delaney from Coil Fencing. You've been building winning teams at Fletcher for years. How does that correlate with installing fences here in Northeast Florida?
Well, Frank, at Coil Fencing, we like to take the coach approach. Implement a game plan and execute it on the field. That's been our winning recipe for 99 years.
And you tackle more than fences, right?
Absolutely. We also service and install automatic gates, perfect for multifamily communities, your business, or residents.
The best defense is a good offense. Visit CoilJacks.com. That's COYLE Jacks.com.
Springtime is the perfect time to get your home organized. Hey, this is Lauren Brooks, and I love our closets from Closets by Design. They create custom storage systems designed around how you actually live. From closets and garages to entertainment centers, laundry rooms, and storage for any space and budget. Make an appointment to tour their showroom on Phillips Highway and get 40% off plus an extra 15% off free installation and 18 months special financing. Schedule your free consultation at 904-878-9393 or find them online, closetsbydesign.com.
It's a week-long flash sale right now from Zero Res. 3 rooms of carpet cleaning for $125 and $5.99 air duct cleaning per unit. Book now before the offer disappears. Call 287-5727. Flash sale now through the end of the week. 3 rooms of carpet cleaning for $125 and air duct cleaning for $5.99 per unit. Call 287-5727. 287-5727. Zero Res. Spelled backward or forward, it's the right way to clean.
In this age of globalization, we've learned that bigger isn't always better. Ever tried to get phone help from a big corporation? From a real person? Good luck. That is what's so nice about Mike Merritt's Heating and Air. Unlike publicly traded conglomerates with headquarters in faraway cities, Mike Merritt's Heating and Air remains family-owned and operated by Mike, your neighbor. Mike Merritt has delivered hometown service, integrity, and pricing for generations. The big guys incentivize their techs to sell you new equipment. Mike's team emphasizes repair first. We only sell you equipment if your current equipment is worn out and beyond repair. And let's be honest about price. Small operations without much overhead can sometimes lowball your job, but you can't trust just anyone with a truck. They may be here today and gone tomorrow. Mike Merritt has been keeping North Florida cool for more than 3 decades. That's experience and dedication you can count on. Call today or see us on the web.
Florida license number CAC 050384.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
If you're wondering if our arguments continue off the air, they do. Because we like to, just fully get to the bottom of things. Absolutely.
Yeah. Taylor got me thinking a little bit. That's all. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I mean, they do it in basketball, right? 64. Now, we're not going to do that many, but
76 now,
76 now, right?
So, moving forward.
I don't know.
64 in college softball, college baseball.
Yeah. I guess
like
it's that, just like you said, Taylor, off the air, like people don't want to change with it because you think like, if you're going for the national title, you should have like 1 loss or no losses, right? That's number 1 versus number 2. Like,
because a lot of us were raised in the BCS era, right? Where there was only 1 championship game. Those teams got voted into it. And so, yes, those losses ended up being so tragic for teams for the longest time. And then people were excited about the 4-team playoff. I think there was much less resistance to go from BCS to 4-team playoff than even there was 14 to 12-team. But people realized, okay, we understand why. Schools can make more money. Therefore, conferences are going to vote for this. It's now that it just feels like it's getting a little bit out of hand for the average college football fan. But they've gotten used to NIL and transfer portal and things that they also hated from several years ago. So at this point in time, you learn to adjust and adapt. And then, but I do think there's valid reasons for fighting against it, and there's valid reasons for these conferences wanting it because the conferences want to get more of their teams into the college football playoff because then they make more money.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why I was saying I see both sides. I've just started thinking because I've heard so many strong resistance against it. I've been like, let me think about the other side of it. And that's why I just feel like if you want more teams to be competitive, the only way to make that happen is to give those team chances to compete. Because if you lock it down to where the 4-team was great, but it kind of felt like every year it was pretty much the same teams, and then there were years where you were also like, man, you really did feel like the better team at the end of the season didn't even get in because there was only 4 teams. So that's where that argument came in. And honestly, what it went from the 8 to 12, that conversation was kind of that too, where man, you kind of left some of the teams that deserved, and then now that just happened again last year. And so that's when you don't want it to start to spiral. You don't want it to always be like, man, 1 team got left out, so you need to double it every time 1 team feels like they were left out of the college football playoff.
The problem back then, at least what I never thought they should rank them before the season. Like you should wait a few weeks. Because it's hard to get off that ranking. Forever, right?
Should not have a preseason rankings basing who gets into the college football playoff. It shouldn't be that.
No, right.
Like in the beginning, you beat X amount of ranked teams. No, that changes, after a month of football, then say these are the ranked teams, and that is kind of determining how it goes. But Lauren has a whole system, but
time now for the pest of the day is always brought to you by our friends at Terminix. You can find them online at Terminix.com. It's TERMINIX.com. They do a fantastic job taking care of any pest issues we have at our house, as well as ViStar Ballpark, ViStar Veterans Memorial Arena, and all of your favorite event venues around town. The pest of the day is the sad loss of Kyle Busch. I texted y'all on Thursday, and we found out over the weekend that he died of pneumonia that led to sepsis. And that just breaks my heart. And watching his family over the weekend, and obviously the NASCAR world mourned, including his brother, his wife, obviously, and kids. But it just, as people that have all the information at our fingertips is what it seems like nowadays. It doesn't seem possible that a 41-year-old would go from somewhat health or pretty healthy and
yeah.
racing one weekend to then somehow getting pneumonia that and ended up with sepsis and all that comes with that. So that is going to be today's pest of the day. And let's say hello to the Frangie Show.
Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnicht. Nimnicht Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnicht Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
Frank Frangie joins us now live from the Miller Electric Center. Frank, can we talk for the next 5 minutes about Florida Texas Tech softball?
Oh, my goodness. That was an ugly finish. I thought about it. I said, I wanted to say that it was ugly and they're not shaking hands and all. And then I got thinking, wouldn't I be the guy that never talked about softball ever until something bad happens, And then the softball fan's gonna tweet, say that's Frangie. He never mentions our national championships. He just mentions when we don't shake hands. So, but that was an ugly scene, Lauren. It was, and I didn't watch it, but I just saw kind of the highlights of it. So, ugly scene.
Yeah, it was interesting. I did watch all 3 games, and I will say Florida hitting Mia Williams 5 times might have been a bit excessive. But moving on from that, OTA number 1 in the books, and you're going to talk to some key principalities.
Yeah, it's good to have him back out here. It was a funny day. It was right when they started. The rain came, the thunder was over there, so they went inside. 10 minutes later, it was beautiful out here. So they finished. They finished the work. They did most of the workout inside. They came right at the end. They came outside. But yeah, it's going to be fun. And it's going to be good to catch up. Liam Cohen's going to join us in just a few moments. Right at the top of the hour, Liam's going to stop by for a bit. James Gladstone, the general manager, of course, about 4:20, and then our friend Tony Baselli about 5 o'clock. So all 3 of the key triumvirates going to stop by. We'll talk about the Jags moving forward. This will kind of set the scene or kick off this season. Really, it's their first OTA, and we're glad to be able to have them all out here. So that's coming up in a bit. A lot of Jaguar talk today, Lauren. And by the way, the Kyle Busch thing was so sad. We'll certainly touch on that. And I think even if you're not a NASCAR fan, it affected you. The college baseball regionals are set. The potential super regionals are set. So we'll certainly talk about all that. The Knicks, what a run they've made. But it'll be mostly Jaguars today as Liam Cohen helps us kick the program off at about 4 o'clock.
All right, sounds good. And yeah, for all those Florida baseball fans, Miami coming to Gainesville.
Ooh,
got that in-state rivalry going this upcoming weekend. All right, thanks, Frank. We shall be listening.
All right, thank you, guys.
All right, there he goes. And like he said, the triumvirate will join the show throughout this afternoon.
Yeah,
so good
that's
stuff
exciting.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, get a bunch of updates from what went on today, who was out there, who wasn't out there, and how they all did. Be good.
Yeah. It's exciting. We said it earlier in the show, and Tommy, I think you and I did on Friday, but it just is that little sign that football is back, and you're like, okay, it's here. It may not be physical contact yet on the field, but you get to see the players, and this is the start of kind of, I guess, continuing to build a roster that they started last year.
I think camp's like 6 weeks away.
Yeah.
Get your vacations in, people.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
That's right.
Football season is almost
it was funny when I was waking up this morning. I was like, you know what? This is what camp's going to be like, Although the practice was at 2, but normally they're in the morning, getting up and getting ready and
getting ready to sweat.
Bringing a couple T-shirts, a towel. Make sure you can dry
cold
off.
compress.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. But it's going to be great. Listen, they should feel really good about this, going in. The team should. I mean, come on. You're coming off 13 wins. You should feel fantastic. A lot of confidence. Got to be smart. Got to stay humble, but you should feel really confident going into 2026.
Absolutely. All right, that'll do it for us today. For Taylor Dahl, Tom McManus, RJ Saunders, I'm Lauren Brooks. These heels are made for talking. We will talk to you tomorrow, but don't go anywhere. The Frangie Show live from the Miller Electric Center is next.